you're going to be happy with. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done. Once you find a good lot, let's get it reserved because there's a very limited number of lots in this town. And then start designing that floor plan that's going to be perfect for you. Next thing you know, we're moving dirt.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
You're counting on your team to win, so why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hey fellas, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So here's your friendly reminder that ignoring your gut isn't a strategy on the field or in real life. Once you hit 45, screening isn't optional anymore. It can literally save your life. Advanced medical imaging makes it easy with fast, comfortable CT colonography. No hospital hoops, no all-day ordeal. Just a simple scan that helps you stay ahead of the game. Talk to your doctor about getting your screening ordered at AMI and keep yourself in the lineup for the long run.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped and picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Hour one of Old School is sponsored by Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? Happy Monday. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. We're Old School, live in effect, 1040 O Street. We want to thank Graham Tire for making it happen, supporting us, giving you some knowledge. Got a lot going on. Obviously, we inching towards Big Ten tournament time for the Huskers, Husker men's basketball. Obviously, Fred Hoiberg just got Piz-Aid. There's a lot of guys in the NFL that just got Piz-Aid. You got spring ball going on. But if you weren't around last weekend, it was the state tournament for girls. It was a phenomenal weekend. Like it was last year. I always say they put more pressure on the boys because from Class D2 to all the way to Class A, it was phenomenal games. So we have the boys state championship this weekend, and we're fortunate enough, we are fortunate as a city enough that we have two teams representing the great city of Lincoln. Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks and the Lincoln High Lynx. And so I thought it would be good to have, one of the coaches on. I know him a little bit. I know his brother, obviously a little bit better, but been able to watch Coach Baugh coach a ton of times. So without further ado, I want to welcome in Coach Baugh, the head coach of Lincoln Southwest Silverhawks, man. Welcome in.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Alex, we've been texting and I've coached a couple of his players, so I always kind of update them, asking how to break through. But before we get into your team and how special this year's been, even, I know you guys made it last year, just tell, I think people, so I want them to be familiar with you as they see you coach, but talk about your journey to get to Lincoln, because I think it's pretty cool that, you were coaching up in Omaha and you came in Southwest program, and in my opinion, kind of revitalized it a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. So I got my head coaching start back in, I'm trying to think, 2006, I think it was 2006, 2007 season at Elkhorn High.
Right.
And I was a head coach there for 4 years, had a couple really good teams, made it to the state finals, lost to Beatrice in the state championship in that 2007, 2008 season. Then was asked by the school district up in Elkhorn to open up Elkhorn South as a new high school. And I was excited to jump at that opportunity, coached there for 5 years, and obviously had a really good run, multiple state tournament appearances there. And then won the state championship in Class B with Johnny Trueblood in 2015. And then at that time, Lindsay and I had 3 kids, and I was actually commuting from Lincoln because my wife's a professor in the College of Architecture at UNL. And so had an opportunity to get back into Lincoln and a chance to coach at Southwest, which, I saw as a great school, a ton of athletic potential. And I saw it as a spot that could have a pretty successful basketball program. And I think, although, it maybe took us a little bit longer to get over the hump of getting down to the state tournament over the, 9 or 10 years that I've been at Southwest, I really think we've kind of put the program on the map in terms of the talent level that we have and our style of play. And so, I'm proud of what we've done.
Yeah. I mean, I think you couldn't explain it any better. Obviously you lived it, but,
yep.
You guys made it to the state tournament last year, had a couple really talented teams a couple years before. Yep. Talk about the team, maybe last year setting the foundation, because your way to the state tournament was a little bit, unconventional. You go up the west side and shock the world. Yeah. But you had to see something at some point last year where you're like, okay, I can really rock and roll with these guys. And talk about how that team last year, even though you have a lot of, obviously, the Sanders twins on this team, a little bit of Dakari last year. Talk about how that set the foundation for this year.
Well, so, taking it back, like you'd said a little bit before that, we'd had some really talented teams, right. and we'd been close and kind of knocking on the door. In fact, I think we lost in 3 straight district finals with some pretty good groups that I thought were certainly talented enough to get down there. It's interesting though, and you've been around great teams that it's oftentimes you're greater than some of your parts,
right.
And I started to feel it. Jackson Cruz, who's now at Lincoln High, went down with a bad ankle injury, and he was such a key player to us about midway through the season or in January last year, and it was a huge loss. But it really forced us to kind of come together because we knew now our backs were against the wall a little bit. And that's when the games of the Sanders twins really took off and they started to be productive and efficient, scoring at a level that, was pretty much unmatched. It pushed Dakari Wilson into a point guard role as a sophomore that he ended up thriving in. And it's just funny how you face a little adversity and it can sometimes bring a team together. And I think that's what happened last year. And, the team believed in themselves. And, I know that everybody else in the state didn't think we were going to be able to go win at Westside, but that team believed we could. And we pieced together a good game plan and they executed. And, it was fun. It was one of those where I don't know. I don't want to sit here and say that it was expected, but, it really kind of catapulted the program and helped us believe that, we could get over the hump and get down to state.
Yeah, it was obviously when you're in district finals, I guess night, it's almost like, you're waiting to see who could get through and, you can watch it live. And I was like, man, these dudes are going to pull it off and stuff like that. So that I think those sometimes when you are striving to get breakthrough as those teams before, maybe a couple years before, where you learn some things. But one of the things I've noticed about this team, and like you said, it backs against the wall last year, is that you changed your style to play to match your personnel.
Sure.
Talk about that process, because I think there's, I'm not, talking bad about any coaches or anything. I think just in general, some coaches are like, all right, this is what I'm going to run. I don't care if you can run it or not. We see it all the time in football, but talk about how you've been able to change maybe how you even view basketball, because, with the Sanders twins and Dakari, you're like, hey, it's almost kind of like the Golden State Warriors. I've seen you guys, how you guys do it, and I think you've changed it a little bit, and it's obviously worked out.
Well, so I've always been, regardless of personnel, somebody that wants to, really, really pride myself in having teams that can score in transition. So, I don't care if you're big or small. I think if you learn how to push it, it's a fun way to play. It's a fun way to coach, and it's just what we're gonna do. I think we've been so undersized. And basically between Dakari and Micaiah and Uzziah Sanders, we've got 3 point guards on the floor. And so it's allowed us to space the floor in a way that is pretty effective. It puts some major matchup pressure on our opponents where, how are you going to have the quickness to guard all three of those guys? And when you have 3 point guard types like that, not only are they 3 guys that can score, they're 3 guys that can make plays for other people. So, obviously we are at our best when we just space the floor and we allow our guys to make plays in space and get out and run and then get them into the belief that, if you move the ball and find the open guy and advance the ball up court, it doesn't matter who's on the receiving end, it's going to be successful. And these guys have bought into it. And so, I think the way that I want to play fits this personnel really well. Because we can play fast and turn it loose. We've had to do some things a little bit differently defensively with, our lack of size, and that poses some challenges. We're going to really have to be able to rebound here this week if we want to have a chance at having success. But the flip side of that is, as a transition team, if we can pull down those rebounds, we're going to be able to fly and in transition. And so it's fun that, if we can get over those shortcomings and areas of weakness, it leads to our biggest area of success, which is getting down to run and transition.
Coach, you mentioned wanting to get back down to Lincoln, before, you got that Lincoln Southwest opportunity where you've been for a while now. How have you seen Lincoln hoops specifically grow and change maybe in your decade down here back in Lincoln, coming back from the metro area?
Yeah, I think it's been significant. I think that obviously we've seen it in not just the team success, but individual players' success in Lincoln. And I think what's been unique about Lincoln is I do think the talent is pretty spread out amongst, almost all the programs in the city. And so it leads to a really competitive environment. But the level of play has grown significantly. I think that certainly has something to do with Supreme and the Kinetic facility and just making basketball sort of a bigger deal here in Lincoln, where I think Omaha youth basketball was a little bit ahead of Lincoln for a while, and I think that has leveled itself out. So it's been fun to watch Lincoln really get back to being competitive with Omaha, because, back when I was in high school in the, late 90s, it was pretty much the other way around, that Lincoln schools were dominating the state tournament. So it's fun to kind of get back to a competitive balance.
Coach, I wanted to, dive into your team because, look, the way you guys play and I think the rise of the Sanders twins, everybody kind of focuses on them. We're going to get them at the very end because I think they're really, really special players. Talk about the emergence of Dakari, because I know Dakari, just from being around. I call him the quiet assassin, man. He will dagger you to death. Talk about where you've had him come in. You saw him a little bit as a freshman. Saw him kind of take advantage of the opportunity as a sophomore. I just think he's just grown by leaps and bounds from maybe late last year to obviously this season.
Yeah, so when you're a coach and you have point guards, you've got to understand their personality and what circumstances they thrive in. I think Dakari's a guy that you need to kind of turn loose because he thrives in big moments. And he's so special in the sense that like he just has a knack for big plays that you don't, again, you've got to have discipline. You've got to do the things that we need to do to win. You got to execute offense, those things, but you don't want to pull the reins on Dakari too much. It's like he just has that ability to pick his spots, to hit big shots from anywhere on the floor. Oftentimes those shots catch people off guard. And so he's one that thrives in freedom. I mean, to be honest, and that he's a high IQ player. He can rebound incredibly well for his size. And when you have a point guard that can do that and lead a break, rebounding like he does, it's pretty special. He passes the ball up court. As I joke with him all the time about how he's the best quarterback in the state because he can throw deep passes in transition and put them on the money better than anybody. And in a transition program with guys that can run the floor like we have, when you have somebody that can pass up court like he does, it really makes you special. And he's really emerged as a top level shooter. I mean, it's been consistent, and he just thrives in big moments. But it's like I said, I think Dakari's one you've got to give a little bit of more freedom to than you might others, because he can really make some big plays.
Yeah, another guy you guys got, I think via transfer, is Kobe Kerr. I mean, I've coached him and seen Kobe and talked to him a little bit when he was playing football, but obviously coached him in basketball as well.
Yep.
Talk about his ability to come over and accept his role, but thrive in his role and kind of bring that I guess tenacity, but it's very controlled. And it's like he's always teeter-tottering on the edge, but he's also bringing everybody else with him.
Well, yeah, I mean, and so I'm really proud of Kobe. I mean, I think it has been a journey for him. I know he believes in himself as a player, and he's been somebody that there's that fine line between, playing with a lot of emotion and being emotional, or playing with passion or losing control of it. I think he has really matured significantly, even through this year, in being able to channel. Because I mean, he plays with an incredible amount of emotion and fire, and we need that. I mean, we're a pretty quiet team by nature, just as guys. And so he's brought a little bit of fire to us, but it's taken a little bit of, with him kind of working, and he's worked really hard to control those things. And, he knew, and we knew that, if he was going to play a role for us, we were going to need him to rebound. And I mean, that filled a real need statistically for us. We don't have a lot of rebounding depth, and he's somebody who's really been able to control the boards on both sides. And has really kind of thrived in that role, and he's been a guy that, is good at catching and finishing in transition, catching and finishing off drives, and then cleaning things up off the glass. And he's just sort of embraced that. And, I think he's a guy that would love to land a JUCO spot or somewhere. And I think that's the type of player he is. So I think he's really started to recognize kind of what his strengths are. And I think it starts with rebounding and just an ability, like you said, to play with some tenacity, but then also be, under control.
Yeah. And then the next guy, before we get to the Twins, is Hudson Metzger. I think, he's provided that leadership for you. And then obviously he could shoot it from three. Just talk about his presence on the team. I know he got banged up a little bit, but still definitely heavily involved, with your guys' success.
Yeah. So Hudson, it's sad. I mean, he had the ACL tear in the Omaha North game. So the last week or two of the season, it's always heartbreaking to see that happen to a senior. He's he's a really great leader. For us, really high IQ guy, but has the ability, and had multiple games this year and certainly multiple games last year where he can change a game with his shooting in, just a couple of minutes. And so those types of guys are really hard to replace. But, his leadership is continuing at this point. Levante Crockett has stepped into the starting role and provides some defense for us. Hudson's been huge. I mean, as we take the wide lens view of these last 2 years, Hudson's been as big a part of it as, the Twins and Dakari that we've already mentioned. I mean, his shooting and leadership and just mentality and team first mentality has been huge for creating the team culture that we've wanted to create these last 2 years.
Yeah, Hudson, I've coached him in the summer. He's always a joy, and you
Yep.
know, the great thing about it is consistent improvement. He's always, you know, the great thing about Hudson, we talk about stuff outside of basketball, but it's always like
Yep.
next level stuff. And he's a really mature kid, you know,
He
for
is.
being, you know, 17, 8 or 16, 17, 18. And that
Yep.
brings us to the Sanderson. Let's talk about Mackay first, because they're both great. I guess we can talk about both of them. Zaya and Mackay. I mean, when you look at it, it's, you know, 43 points and, you know, about 5 or 6 steals. Talk about their emergence, because I know that probably Zaya's up for potentially, you know, player of the year, rightfully so.
Yep.
Mackay's right there on the heels, but the way they play together and off of each other, I mean, I've seen it up and close. You know, when they score 50 out of 70 points, and they're not selfish. How does that work? You know what I'm saying? First of all, they're brothers, right? I mean, but how does that work? You know, is it just natural, or did you kind of had to, you know, work with them and say, this is why you can be successful?
So Jay, how long do we have here? I mean, I'm telling you, I could talk for hours. I fell in love with these kids when they were in middle school. I mean, I could just see right away grit to them. But more than anything, just a feel for the game that I don't know that I think it's their instincts that just come natural, and they feed off each other so well. It's incredible. So they're two of the most dynamic high school basketball players I've ever seen. And the fact that they can be so productive alongside of each other and so consistent and efficient with their productivity at their size is crazy. So they are as fast with the basketball in their hands as you'll find. And again, speaking to a team that wants to be, or a program that wants to play in transition, you know, I knew from the jump that they would fit. I think it's sort of the perfect fit, the style of play that we want to play, get out and run in transition, you know, play a lot of man-to-man defense, space the floor and offense, and look to find, you know, driving opportunities for those guys have really fit them well. It's been fun to watch the two of them kind of mold into themselves in a way, and that they've become distinct players. You know, I think Kai is kind of a dog. I mean, he just has a toughness to him and is going to make whatever play is necessary to win games. You know, he'll get a big steal, he'll pull down a big rebound, he'll go get a big bucket at the rim, that type of thing. I think Uzziah has really expanded his game as a shooter. I mean, heck, he's shooting 47% from three this year. So I mean, he's one of the top 3-point shooters in the state.
Right.
And he does it with incredible consistency. So I feel so fortunate to have coached these kids. They love basketball, you know, and they play so well together. They're such good teammates. You know, they're so easy to play with because they just, you know, have such an elite level feel for the game that it does make the guys around them better, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you think about not only the scoring, it's just that when you look at the steals per game and along with the assists, they can just stifle you. Obviously, you've seen it, you know, firsthand. So I'm glad we could have you on. I know, you know, you're probably, you know, itching to get at it. I know the twins and everybody, and I know Hudson or whatever. Sometimes waiting is the hardest thing to do. You're about 48 hours away, so you know we're pulling for you. Obviously, we got to be non-biased when we call it, but we definitely we'll sneak in a couple biased takes on it. So I want to wish you all the luck, man. It's been a work in progress. It's never easy, but the one thing I can say is that I've heard, because I know some of the parents over there. One thing is not only does he coach well, he treats the kid really, really well.
I appreciate that, and we try.
And that's as biggest part is probably obviously the X's and O's. So Alex Ball, head coach, appreciate you coming on. We're going to try to play. We'll try to replay this before you guys tip off. You know, before so everybody can see it. So or listen to it. Appreciate it, man. Good luck.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Jay. Bye.
Yeah, man. It's you know, look, they got two teams. We're going to try to get Coach Ross and Coach Miller. They're either going to come on later today or pre-record. So it's always good. Lincoln teams make it. You know, it's good for Coach Ball. I mean, they've had some talented teams, obviously with Braden Frager and those guys, and you know, sometimes you run into some, you know, teams that are maybe a little bit farther along in the team aspect. But this team is very connected. I know I've coached against all those kids, seen them grow up, and so they're very competitive, very connected, and they're in a good spot. So do what they do.
For everyone that wanted us to ask about Braden Frager, it was on our minds, but focus on this year's team.
Yeah.
What they were doing was so special. What they are doing, one of the two Lincoln teams representing the LNK down here in the state tournament coming up later this week. Trust me, we thought about if we get Coach Baugh again in the offseason, maybe we can ask him to reflect on Braden's season up here.
We'll get him after. I just think that
but
with these guys playing and what they've had to go through, I just felt, and Coach Bob being close, he said he missed. He's how many district championships he's had to. The focus needs to be on this team, not taking anything away from Braden or anybody like that. But I've seen them be the odds-on favorite and kind of not come through.
Jay, I do think it was interesting hearing Coach Baugh talk, being able to see Southwest in person a couple times this year. We talk about possession advantages, right? He knows he doesn't have a huge team. It reminds me in some ways of Nebraska basketball too. Just be close enough when it comes to the board. You put a lot of pressure on a couple guys to do the bulk of the rebounding. But it's different to see Coach Baugh take the approach of, okay, we're not very good at rebounding. So, as a team, so we have to be more aggressive in passing lanes, right? We have to try to create those extra possessions through steals, through on-ball pressure. And I think that, watching Coach Baugh and his teams, it's an interesting kind of conundrum, but I also think it works in his favor because if you drill into their head, everyone needs to rebound. Rebounding is
not a problem.
Not a problem because I think these guys at Southwest understand they don't get out and run. Transition basketball is fun, right? You have numbers, you get to go fast, you have an advantage. That's the fun kind of basketball to play. We've seen the Sanders twins and others put on a show in transition for the better part of the year. But I think it's a credit to Coach Baugh, his staff, and those players that they know they have to do the dirty work first. They got to do the blue collar thing first. It's business up front, and then it's party after that.
Yeah. Well, first of all, when you got three excellent guards that, the 3-point guards in size, but they're tough. The two twins, they got some hang time. Same with Dakari. They all can play above the rim. And so they're not afraid to challenge some shots. Their quickness and their timing as far as going for steals, they're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he plays to their strengths. He's obviously, that's by nature. He likes to get up and down the court. But he plays when you think about it, most coaches will be like, okay, we got 3 guards, small guards. We're only going to play one of them. Well, he plays all 3
at the same time.
But they can guard big though.
Yeah.
I always tell people about like Levante David. He could play big, right? It really wasn't that big coming out. He can, the way that they play has stifled majority of teams in Lincoln and has actually kind of played mind games where you don't know how to play against them. And I've seen them play a couple of times. Both times they score 70 points, 50 of them by them too. And then you see Dakari in the Hack Championship just take people's hearts.
Yeah.
And so if they stay out of foul trouble and they defend the passing lanes, the amount of pressure, they extend your offense almost to half court. And then
with a 30-second shot clock,
right.
35-second shot
then what happens is they're very skilled and they're very efficient in their movement. Then you get guys trying to match them. Well, if you're not going to outrun these dudes, okay, you're not going to out fast break them. So that's where right then, if you try to match them, now you're down 10 points. So now you're already uphill battle it that way. So it's not only what they do on the court, it's what they provide pressure wise to the opponents off the court, because then you think like, oh, I think I can do that. Then you try to get into it, and they're all working in connection with each other. So hopefully, they have a good showing. I think they'll play well. They're probably ready for it. These guys have played in a lot of big tournaments and stuff like that and won. So they'll definitely go out there and compete. So we'll take a quick break, come back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
Let's fly. Your next trip starts at Lincoln Airport with American Airlines. Now flying nonstop service to Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago. American Airlines connects Lincoln to major hubs and destinations around the globe. Wherever you're headed, LNK gets you there with new nonstop flights on American Airlines. Convenient, fast, and stress-free. Book your next flight at LincolnAirport.com. LNK, make flying easy.
You're counting on your team to win. So why not prove it? By placing your bets at Warhorse Sportsbook. Their win is your win. Put your money where your mouth is on nearly every sporting event. Use the Warhorse app to check odds and build your bets before placing your wagers in person at Warhorse Casino, including live in-game betting. No bets, no glory. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Hi, Charlie Stone here, and joining me is Andy Goodyear with Honda of Lincoln. Before I bring Andy on, we want to wish you joy, success, and good health in 2026. Andy, are you there?
Yes, I am, Charlie. And by the way, that was well said.
Andy, I know you want to kick off 2026 with a bang. What's going on at the dealership?
We got a lot going on here, Charlie. We have incredible savings on every new remaining 2025, New Year's savings on every new 2026, special low long-term financing, and special lease rates. The biggest news is we have more than 400 new 2025 and 2026 Hondas to choose from.
How about pre-owned?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned Hondas right now with prices starting at under $10,000, and we have special low rates.
Well, maybe it's time you experience the best. The Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting lincolnteammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 11th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on The Ticket, Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 11th through March 14th as we crown 6 state champions at the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School on this beautiful Monday, 1040 O Street. Live at The Ticket, 93.7 The Ticket. I want to thank Coach Ball coming on. Obviously prep is, I'm sure he had a week or so to prep for who they're playing against. And so in Miller North and, but either way, spring break, take time out of his day to talk about his program, highlight his program. It's always appreciated. Seeing him coach from afar, coach a few of his players and all that stuff. One thing I will say about him is anytime that I've ever tried to communicate with him, as far as trying to get some intel on some of his players, he definitely, I will say this, he definitely is about the players.
Yeah.
And wants the best for him. So, and everything you hear about him, treating him right. So, but before we get to the 4:00 hour, obviously get into Husker hoops, and obviously had a great day yesterday with taking care of the Iowans coming down here. We got a little spring ball. They had a spring scrimmage, a big recruiting day yesterday, I guess I read.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the DC talked about some of the progress of some of the players.
Indeed, he did. Let's see.
Coach Orich, let's see what he's
Let's see, Coach Orich. How about what stood out to him so far early in spring?
Yeah, I think there's a physicality up front to this team that sticks out to me right now. I think when the run periods happen and base downs, you can hear the line of scrimmage a little bit. That's one thing that's sticking out to me. I think we got guys in the core and guys in the trenches that want to do it the right way. I think the run fits have come a long way defensively from where we started practice one. Still a ways to go. I mean, we're grinding every day. It's nothing's built in 7 practices or 8. But that's what stood out to me a little bit. I think there's a toughness inside.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, the 4-man front maybe allows you to do a little bit more, kind of got guys in the right positions or whatever that maybe fits their skill set. And so, you want them to be physical. Number one, the offensive line, from what everybody says, and Coach Holgerson says that it's, better. So then therefore, and to be better, you got to be more physical, or at least being able to challenge guys from a physicality standpoint in the run and pass game. So the defensive line and defensive players have to match that. So the first week and a half, or however many practices they've had, is generally where people are excited to hit each other and all that. This next week is going to be huge, or the next week of practices, right? This week, obviously, I think they get a week off, and then you got to come back. These are the 2 most important weeks, because you're looking towards maybe some time off because of spring break, and then how do you come back to spring break? Like, it can't be, oh, we have the summer. No, we have right now, and who wants to be physical from practice 1 to practice 20 is probably going to separate themselves.
Mentioned the weeks that are most important here. Rob Orich has installed this scheme a number of different places, right? Idaho to San Diego State, and now to Nebraska. Jay talked about, what the spring looks like for him installing his defense. What do these next couple weeks look like? Here's the DC.
The first half of practice, just how I go about it, the first half of spring, you want to lay down your core concepts and your foundation. The second half, or the second third of spring, you want to get into the level 200, 300 of the in-depth, the higher level stuff, now that they have the foundation. And then the third level, you get to start personnelling some things. You get into your cheetah package, or your third down, or your heavy sets. And so for us, we're entering really that second third, that middle third of spring ball, where we're asking the guys to take base level understanding and now apply the high speed decision making that we need to see.
Yeah, that's huge. It's the first week. I like it. He's talking about, the foundation is key. Whatever those are, that's where you want to build your defense from. Then depending on the coordinator, depending on the defensive scheme, depending on the personnel, that's how you have to attack the spring. And then you want to add on to it, but it's all a byproduct of your foundation. And you got to get that. You got to get the hard stuff down. Down pat. You got to know that in and out. And you can't not go back. So what you learn in the first, say, like week and a half, and then as you start putting in, say, like you said, the cheetah package or the sexy stuff, you can't forget about the bases. That's what you're naturally probably going to go back to when you need to stop, or what you need to really focus on to get back on track. But all the stuff that you're going to do in the future is off of that. It's going to be the same fronts. It might be the same coverages, but it might be called something different. But you're blitzing a corner, or you're blitzing a nickel, you're blitzing a Sam, and then you're dropping it in. It's still the same coverage. It's just guys doing different things. That's why you have to get your base down. But then also it lets you know, or at least from my experience, is who can continue along the process when it kind of gets boring or it gets hard. And all right, I'm still reviewing the first stuff. Then I'm applying that. I'm still keeping my mind fresh, and then I'm adding on to it. And then I'm retaining it all. And he's going to be putting pressure on guys to see if they can perform, because ultimately how you perform now is going to be a byproduct of how you perform on Saturdays.
He was asked then and follow up about that cheetah package. What does that mean, right? There's a buzzword, something cool to hang on to. Here's the cheetah package in the words of Rob Orich.
Our 4 best rushers, our 5 best DBs in coverage. So our cheetah package is what we call when we're hunting the quarterback a little bit. And so there's an ongoing battle. Everybody wants to be on cheetah, man. No one wants to be left out of cheetah. So we evaluate all those one-on-ones, who can corral AC, the quarterback, and we'll see who it is.
The other thing then, Jay, that stood out to me, and it's something that you've talked about a lot, right? I think especially in light of applying the base level stuff to that higher level and what Coach Orich mentioned about the high level decision making. He talked about the communication, specifically the on-field communication. Here's Rob Orich on that.
Yeah, for sure. Now they can all. We're not asking them to basically make sure everybody's on the same page. We're asking them to do their job within the defense. And that's been probably the area where we need to see grow in the second half is on-field communication from the defense as a full. That's where I think we can take a real step.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge, because on Saturdays, Coach, he can only call the plays. And so it's something you have to continue to work on, and you got to see guys to step up and own it. You want to be, because sometimes you might be the best leader or communicator out there, and that's why you're out there. Then, you got somebody sitting on the bench like I'm faster than him. Well, you're not better. If you can't communicate on the defensive side of the ball effectively, both in I guess average pressure situations or high pressure situations, or on a day-to-day basis, if it's not important to you, you will not succeed. You won't be physical. You won't be fast. You won't play with togetherness, and then you'll be having a lot of regret. So that's also really good that, he's putting guys in positions that they got to do it and see who's wanting to do it. Then the or the cheetah packages, like you remember when the Giants beat the Patriots and they had their NASCAR packages, they brought in Justin Tuck and he played it. And sometimes they put Strahan in at the 3.
Jason Pierre-Paul had all 10 fingers at the time.
Yeah. And then they had OC and all those guys.
Yeah.
That's the way it works, man. I mean, it's
Matthias Kaiwanuka.
Yeah, I mean, they had tons of guys, but they would rotate 6 guys, and that's how they just wore you out. But in order to get to that point, you got to stop the run and be good on third down.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be you got to stop the run and be really good on second and medium. Because in order to put that package on the field, it's got to be second or third and definitely 4+. But he talked about the 5 best cover dudes and the 4 best pass rushers. The thing that makes that go is the 2 linebackers.
How dare he overlook the linebackers? He's a former linebacker himself. He didn't even bring him up.
He probably has an eye on those guys. But the reason why it makes it go, because when those guys are thinking about pass rush, if they hit you with a run or a trap or inside-outside zone or a quick screen or something like that, you have to be able to you got to be an effective communicator, and you got to play off of that. And there's no excuses. You got to be the cleanup man. Then you're going to get in on the blitzes as well, and it's going to create a lot of opportunities for you to get negative tackles for losses. But on the back end, the cover guys want to cover. Sometimes you got to help a cover guy cover so he can take some chances, or you just want to make sure that you're not exposing them to a big play. So the middle of the defense is going to be as big as part of that as anything.
We're getting a look through the window into the Nebraska football defense right now in hour 1 of Old School, which is brought to you by Heartland of Nebraska Windows, based down in Hallam. Free estimates, full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and lifetime warranties on everything. Among the incredible stuff going on down at Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're locally and family owned, got their own team of installers. Give Heartland of Nebraska Windows a call today for more info. That number is 402-430-3852. Jay, you mentioned that, second and long, win second and medium and long. Some of that is with the pass rush sometimes. The rush defense has got to get better, but Rob Orich was asked specifically how Nebraska's pass rush can improve.
The biggest thing watching the tape from last year is, all great pass rushers have an elite get off and they close space to the quarterback. And that's what we need to get in the fight more at pass rushing. Rather we're hanging out on the edges trying to dance. We need to carve that pass rush arc and compress the quarterback. And that's when you're playing a mobile guy like AC, is that you really want to make him throw from inside the pocket. And that's been a big challenge for our guys. Keep him there.
Didn't sound like a ringing endorsement of how Nebraska was attacking things off the edge last year.
Yeah, I mean, however you want to look at it, but I mean, he's right. I mean, the one thing if you want to improve as a pass rusher, get off the ball. Every time. Get off the ball. Stop. If you're late off the ball, you're pretty much
too
done.
late.
Yeah. So,
when you're measured in, if a pass block win is 2.5 seconds,
right,
you don't have much time. Every quarter second you waste getting off the ball.
Yeah. It's 2 and 2. It's old Chuck Willery. You want to beat that tackle 2 yards off the ball and 2 yards towards the quarterback. 2 and 2.
Okay.
That's the easy way. The guys I train, I said, this is it. You got to beat them 2 years. You
What about 2 and 2 and 2 in 2 seconds?
Right. Well, yeah, but if you beat them 2 and 2, you don't worry about it. You closing in. It's a house call.
Gotcha.
It's really simple. Now it's harder to do, but it's very, very simple because you got to read the shoulders. You got to know whether it's third and short, whether you're getting quick set, whether they're trying to feint you a little bit. I call it feint, where they're trying to get you to show your move, and then you got to be disciplined and be able to. You got to really react, but it comes natural the more that you naturally force yourself to get off the ball, work your techniques, apply the coaching, and then you have to work outside of practice. You got to study tape. You got to understand that there's a certain way that you rush probably Tree versus Pritchett. There's probably, Justin Evans versus Black or whoever you're going against. How you rush against a tackle from Indiana based on his body type and the way they run, their offense versus Illinois, right? And so, pass rush is I wouldn't say it's a lost art, but also, it's very, very simple. There's a stat out there: 76% of sacks are second effort. I think it's in the NFL. 76% of sacks are like second effort. You get stopped, you keep going.
Which I think is what he's talking about. Get into the fight. Quit dancing on the edge. Go get something.
And it might even be higher percentage than that. And I think that they did like T.J. Watt, Myles Garrett, and all that. Now you can see the sexy stuff when everybody looks at DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller when they hit you with the spin and half a spin and all that.
Whoa! You're forgetting the OG spinster.
Oh yeah. It was 93.
Yeah,
he was.
Like Freeney.
Yeah, Freeney would hit you with the double spin. He'd hit you with the helicopter. He'd spin inside, spin outside. But those things, you see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably like once every 2 years. Because you're not going to really do it every single time.
Yeah, no.
It's speed to power, speed to counter to power, all that stuff. Very easy. It's harder to do, though.
How many spin moves did you bust off as a linebacker?
When I was rushing? No.
Come on, you had to break out something.
No. Jonathan Ogden threw me out the club once.
When you tried to spin?
Yeah, he talked to me the whole time. He's like, that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Thanks, Mr. Ogden.
Yeah, and he talked to me the whole time as he was blocking me. He's like, you need to. He talked a lot of junk. I get it. I got mine against running backs, but I was more of a cover guy and all that. And in our when we didn't really blitz that much.
Do you want to hear what Rob Orich wants from his linebackers?
Yeah, we'll do that right quick.
Okay, these are the traits that Rob Orich wants in his linebackers.
The ability to accelerate, the ability to laterally move, and the ability to be really firm on contact. I think if a linebacker can do those things, close ground at an elite level, be able to laterally slide his body and still be in great posture, and then be physical in contact, normally have the DNA to be a good player.
Yeah, I don't know what all that means. All that means is you just got to be I know you got to be quick. I think for me, I'd look at you got to have the ability to be quick. First of all, but in order to do all that, you got to know what you're doing.
That to me is the acceleration, right? Can you put the foot in the ground and go when you know where the play's going?
And close. I know what that means because I like the guys that can close from point A to point. Once they see it, that's the first thing I look for. Can you close? And if you close, generally you're going to arrive hopefully with bad intention. I think I think you got to be quick, you got to be decisive, and then you got to be able to get into some spots and not get knocked off balance. That's square pads to me, right?
That's where I was going to go with the lateral, right?
Lateral.
Can you shuffle,
right,
and not give any indication that you're going to shoot a gap or whatever?
You could get blocked. You got to learn how to play into a block, play off. I think you got to be really violent with your hands. You got to be willing to stick your face in there. You got to be violent when you throw them off. You got to be able to punch and pull. I always feel like for a linebacker, you got to have three main go-to moves that you're going to get off blocks, and then one that you kind of have that you're working on. Because if it's an outside zone, and once I know it declares, and a lineman's coming up on me, I'm not breaking my stride. Now I got to stab him a little bit. That's a stiff arm. I got to stiff arm him because I got to jolt him and I got to go, and I got to keep my eyes on the ball. And I got to be able to the the near hip. Now, if I'm going up against a lineman, depending on if it's just a straight up base block or kind of inside zone, well, then I got to be able to anchor down and how I can anchor down and not get washed or get turned. Right? Then I got to be able to which is kind of like against the counter. You got to be, go one way, be able to come other, and you can't cross over. But then you got to be able to either skate over top or scrape or whatever they call it now. We used to call it skate or scrape. And then you got to be able to stick your foot in the ground, close, like you said, accelerate. And then you got to have really good pad level to strike somebody and not get blown back. That's where I think these guys will take a big, big step. Because whether it's Foster and Chambliss, Foster Shavers and Chambliss, whatever combination they have, and especially with the two coming in, I think it's an upgrade. And then also from a football want to standpoint. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Just reading some of the clippings, and I know they talked about Foster, that he comes with the party. He's bringing his own. He's bringing his own keg. So I like that for him. So let's take a quick break. Scott and Lincoln, and Eric, we'll get to your text messages. I had a close call Saturday.
Close encounters of the Jay Foreman kind.
Man, yo. But the young lady from North Star was nice, boy. But that caught me by surprise. I don't know what I was doing.
We'll talk about it next.
Yeah, it caught me by surprise. I'm still surprised. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hey fellas, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So here's your friendly reminder that ignoring your gut isn't a strategy on the field or in real life. Once you hit 45, screening isn't optional anymore. It can literally save your life. Advanced medical imaging makes it easy with fast, comfortable CT colonography. No hospital hoops, no all-day ordeal. Just a simple scan that helps you stay ahead of the game. Talk to your doctor about getting your screening ordered at AMI and keep yourself in the lineup for the long run.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today. We'll see lots of sunshine with a light breeze. Be very warm and afternoon high near 78. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds below around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. Be breezy and cooler, a high near 65. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get one half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town. All right, Lincoln, if you're a diesel technician who's ready to earn up to $40 an hour and you're tired of working nights and weekends, listen up. Inland Truck Parts and Service is hiring experienced diesel technicians right here in Lincoln, and they're offering what every hardworking tech wants. Monday through Friday hours, no nights, no weekends, and paid training on advanced diesel technology. With 37 locations across 12 states, career advancement opportunities are endless. Start building towards your future and apply today at inlandtruck.com. That's inlandtruck.com. Or text APPLY to 785-369-1320.
John just tried Runza's new Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger with its sweet heat bacon jam, pepper jack cheese, bacon, and cream cheese.
Whoa, this burger's like totally
What?
You know, boom, 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 boom.
Not sure I'm getting it.
It's totally jammin'.
Ah, I see. Well, don't jam with your mouth full. Try the Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger. Because from the way we make it to the way it makes you feel, Runza makes it all better.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All leases with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
The stretch run is here. On March 18th, Love Nebraska hosts Love Atlanta at Baxter Arena with first serve set for 7 p.m., and every set carries postseason implications. Two explosive teams meet on one court, trading quick transition, heavy swings, and defensive plays that can shift the match in seconds. Playoff implications on the line as the season winds down. Don't just track the score, feel every rally live. Secure your seats at lovebneb.com/tickets.
There's no place like McKinney's Irish Pub for St. Patrick's Day, so mark your calendars to join in on the fun for their 12th annual Street Festival. The party goes all weekend long, but starts on March 14th and 15th with tons of giveaways, great Irish food, and green beer. And it continues on Tuesday the 17th for actual St. Patrick's Day. Doors open for the bar at 9 a.m. on Saturday, 11 a.m. on Sunday, and 9 a.m. on Tuesday. And the street party starts at 2 p.m. all 3 days. Don't miss out on great music and great fun with no cover charge for St. Patrick's Day weekend at McKinney's Irish Pub, located at 8th and P.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Are you tired of living in pain? At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, they make it simple. From head to toe, spine to extremities, they've got you covered. Their multi-specialty team of experts in orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, podiatry, physical therapy, and occupational therapy all work under one roof to get you back to living life pain-free. Don't wait another day. Visit prairie-ortho.com today or call them at 402-489-4700. Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, where healing begins.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Well, we're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Quick segment before we get to the 4 o'clock hour. Talk a little Husker hoop. There's some guys getting paid. Man,
His age.
Break bread 2026. But anyway, Scott and Lincoln said his text is this. Did the little girl's basketball player startle the big football player? The answer to the question is hell yes. He said he saw it in person. I didn't realize it was your table, then listen to the playback to see if you saw the uncalled fouls. No, I did not see that. I got bum rushed. It got to that part and I had to pull over until he started, he had to stop laughing. So what happened was there was a loose ball coming towards us. I thought I had originally thought somebody's going to get it. Well, then they just got blasted up into our table, knocked us offline, and the table hit me up in the chest. You know what I mean? And I don't know what I was doing.
You're calling the game.
I know, but I was thinking like, okay, well, first of all, I thought the ball was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So then the ball took a different path.
Yeah, and you can prepare for the ball, right? You can stick your hands out, you can bop it, you can get your foot ready. Yeah.
Blasted up all up in my chest. And I think it was Kendall Anderson. She was like, are you okay? She was like, you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm straight. I'm embarrassed. You know what I'm saying?
Got ear hole.
The only thing I was glad I just didn't get knocked over in the chair. Because then that would have been bad.
I had something similar but different happen to me down in Phoenix. It's the last game. It's Nebraska-Stanford. I'm sitting up there in the press box. Open windows, right? Left-handed batter up. And I'm at like that perfect angle for a left-handed foul ball, knowing it's a possibility, but I've really never been in like an open-air press box like that at a baseball game at that angle. So I'm minding my own business, trying to watch the game, do some stats. And Stanford's DH 3 or 4 hole hitter, first baseman maybe, fouled one straight back, like my direction. And my first reaction was to duck.
Yeah.
I'm a baseball player. To my core. Like, I played baseball for 15 years of my life.
Right.
And my first reaction was to duck.
That's smart.
Not stick my hands out and try to catch it. Was to duck. I was ashamed. Luckily, it bounced off the outside of the frame and then back down. Another inch to the right, and it's bouncing off the back wall into the back of my head. Jay, I was ashamed. But again, it's like my first time in that situation. What am I supposed to do? So
I'm not ashamed. I was down in Houston, Texas at practice. I was dodging balls left and right. I'm done. I've been there, done that. I'm done with that. I have no protective gear, man. So yeah, it was good. I want to give a shout out to Coach Tommy Johnson. For Lincoln North Star, they were able to beat a more than game Omaha North team, and for him, seeing him build that program up and from the ground up, and and see some of the young ladies that played with him in his first state tournament now become seniors and be star players. Very commendable. He's a good dude, treats them well, and definitely, got North Star on the map.
We got to get to Eric's as well. How was the golf game? How was the golf game? How'd it go this weekend? It was beautiful.
I handle business, like always.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing changed. I don't know where Nick was. But I was with AD. I want to give a shout out with AD. He got
dope sweatshirt.
Attitude over everything. Gave me a sweatshirt, man. Fits good. Got me. He asked me if I want an extra large, 2Xs. That's where I'm at. I'm still in my winter weight right now, AD. But I want to appreciate it for AD. I know he's been doing a lot of posts in the morning, trying to keep people's attitude right. So he's helped me out as well. So I know it's a little warm today, but I wanted to sport his swag. So eventually, I'm sure you'll have everybody in Lincoln wearing everybody's attitudes right.
Why we got AD?
Eric, you need your attitude right.
Get your attitude adjusted.
Yeah, you need an attitude adjustment. So anyways, we're going to take a quick break, come back. We'll talk about Nebraska basketball victory over Iowa, senior day. Sam Hoiberg goes out like a champion, along with the other. Big game for Kale, though, off the bench. 2 threes, though. Lighting them up.
Massive
threes.
Woo!
Hello.
2026, 27 starting point guard, Cale Jacobson.
Yes, sir. Anyways, Jay Foreman, Austin Orman. Quick break. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Spring storms happen, but LES line workers are ready. While they're out in the weather, you can stay inside and still lend a hand by reporting your outage at les.com/report.
At Planet Fitness, we're getting strong for the season's biggest games. Join now and your first month is free. Whether you're chasing a buzzer beater or your everyday goals, we've got next level amenities like red light recovery and hydro massage to help you rebound and recover. Plus, with the PF Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and access over 2,800 locations. Join now for $1 down, $24.99 a month, and get your first month free. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, March 13th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Spring is the time of new beginnings and trying new things. If you haven't tried Führer's cheese spread yet, the time is now. For parties for St. Patrick's Day and Easter, or celebrating the NCAA tournament with friends, there's no better dip to bring everyone together and celebrate something from Nebraska. Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Führer's cheese spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table. The stretch run is here. On March 18th, Love Nebraska hosts Love Atlanta at Baxter Arena with first serve set for 7 p.m., and every set carries postseason implications. 2 explosive teams meet on one court, trading quick transition, heavy swings, and defensive plays that can shift the match in seconds. Playoff implications on the line as the season winds down. Don't just track the score, feel every rally live. Secure your seats at lovbneb.com/tickets.
Looking for the right utility tractor for your acreage? Find it at Landmark Implement. Shop our selection of used John Deere compact tractors from 1 through 5 series with the power and versatility to track mowing, yard work, snow removal, and more. For a limited time, get 2.9% financing for 36 months, followed by 6.2 for 24 months with approved credit. We've got the right fit for your property and your budget. Stop by your local Landmark Implement or visit us online at landmarkimp.com today and experience the Landmark difference.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Dio Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Dio Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diotech online at diotech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score. Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln. Your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome in Hour 2 of Old School. Austin Norman, Jay Foreman with you. Brought to you, as always, by the good people over at Graham Tire Company. They've got 4 Lincoln locations. They've been serving the Midwest for 75 years. More than just tires, they do all kinds of car and light truck repairs, too. From brakes to oil changes, trust Graham Tire for service you can count on. It's Graham Tire who's getting you to the places that matter most. 402-464-5685. Taking your Husker basketball thoughts all hour long. We'll stick with the Iowa games here in this first segment. Start to look ahead a little bit to the Big Ten tournament and beyond in segment number 2 here of the second hour. Cubsker, a sick Husker putter. Shout out to the girlfriend for getting you the new clubs for your birthday. Jay, last night, Nebraska missed a couple gimme putts, if you will. A couple opportunities to close out that game against Iowa. A little bit earlier, you figure when Iowa got up 11 or got down 11, they would have a run in them to get back into it. But Nebraska missed a couple bunnies, maybe went into a prevent offense mode a little too soon. And of course, some missed free throws down the stretch allowed Iowa to get some shots to get back in the game. And then ultimately the 3 from Combs with about 2.5 seconds left to tie it.
Man, that was, obviously, you saw Jamarcus going back out there and shooting free throws. And so, look, he's always a pretty steady player. Sometimes it, doesn't work out. And so, Nebraska, they had it. I think Iowa hit some big shots. I think Coke hit some big. He played the game of his life. He was what?
Again.
But he was what, 5 of 7 of shooting or something. 5 threes.
Ends up with where
threes,
Cooper
right?
caught 6 threes
because he hit 1 in overtime.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. I mean, that's for him. They were some pretty good threes. So Iowa played well enough to make a run at the end. I think if Nebraska makes one of those front ends of those free throws, the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest thing is they were able to go into overtime and they were able to dominate. So I felt like after halftime, they had control of the game and obviously lost a little bit of it. And if you want to take anything out of it, you look at the Michigan game, had control of the game the whole way, lost it at the end. Nebraska kind of did the same thing, but was able to win in overtime. So, I always try to look at some growth and when you win. Iowa's tough, man. They were saying on TV, the 2 most disciplined teams offensively and defensively. They make you work for it. Nebraska, I like their defensive plan. Go after their best guy and make everybody else try to beat you. They almost did, but too little, too late, chumps.
Couple things that stood out to me watching that game and then rewatching it, Jay. The first big wrinkle that Nebraska threw out there was when Iowa started like they did last time with Bennett Sturts guarding Price Sanford, a guy that plays, almost 40 minutes a game for Iowa, and Nebraska's Iron Man there and Price Sanford as well. What I was able to do in top blocking and grabbing and bumping and holding Price Sanford in the game in Iowa City Nebraska responds with some what Fred Hoiberg called floppy action to get Price Sandfort down to the block.
Yep.
Really interesting wrinkle. And Fred Hoiberg said that's something that they'd been practicing for a little while. Price Sandfort was able to get to the rim, right, with some shot fakes, some up and under, go to work on Sturts in the post. Also had a nice kick out assist, I believe, to Sam Hoiberg for a 3 when Nebraska went to that early on. It's that creativity, it's that innovation that I think gives Nebraska as good a chance as any to win the Big Ten, make it to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, because I'm sure Nebraska had that wrinkle in its back pocket for a while, but why go to it until you need it? You know, you didn't need the Iowa win, but you kind of did. If you wanted the 2 seed, if the Big Ten tournament means something to you, it's still a quality win on the resume like we can get to. But to see Fred Hoiberg, you know, still in game 31, have a wrinkle, have some tricks to pull out of the bag, even at the end, and for Price Sandfort to look so comfortable with it in the first time that we've seen it in any extended sort of way in game action, I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're out there playing. You got to play to win. And you just came off a performance that you weren't too happy with against UCLA. Doesn't matter if you already knew that you were going to get the triple bye before the game or not. Being a 2 seed is better than 4.
Avoid Michigan till the finals,
right.
potentially.
Losing to Iowa twice, is better than just only once. And you got the last victory. There's old saying, you're only as good as your last game. So Iowa, you were trash.
Nebraska, you're pretty good.
You're pretty dang good. So there's plenty of reasons for them to be motivated. It's senior day. But I liked Sandfort in there, and he got busy a little bit. He showed he got a little bit more game to him.
Not just a shooter, folks.
Not just a shooter. He's able to kind of, he worked the angles, used the rim as a protector, and was able to go, underneath and dipsy do under there and had some creativity. And also, I think it allowed other guys to really start getting busy. See Rink to kind of, it's the perfect time for him to start getting going. Sam and those guys did well. So I think, Fred, he's going to approach every game trying to win. He's competitive. And so his team is like that. They're an older team. And so they know how to bounce back from a performance they weren't proud of. And Iowa was just a good test that is going to test some metal. And I think it bodes well being tested like that as your last in winning before you go, and you don't play till Friday. You got a few days off.
Yeah. Well, let's jump off on that then, Jay, because Nebraska was down a little bit early. Iowa came out and threw the first punch. Nebraska kept it within arm's reach. There was a lineup there. It was Hoiberg, Jacobson, Frager, Buchtenjel, and Garcia. And a couple people I was chatting with on Media Row and I were both wondering, okay, where does the offense come from with this lineup? In a game that I was getting some easy looks early on, that's the lineup at the U12. Hoiberg, Jacobson, who we'll get to in a little bit, more specifically Frager, Buchtenjel, and Garcia. Well, you get a layup from Cale Jacobson off good movement. You get a dunk from Buchtenjel. And then you get a Jared Garcia corner pocket 3. Jared Garcia time and all that. He came in and knocked it down. That was a 7-0 lead to put Nebraska up by 5 for the first time. But then, Jay, Nebraska gave it right back. Or Iowa got it right back, whichever way you want to look at it. Nebraska would push it to 8. Iowa would get it to 4. Nebraska would lead by 11. Iowa would get it right back into, single-digit territory with a 3, usually by Koch, or even, down to 5 or 6, and then ultimately whittle away down the stretch to tie the game. That's one of the things that I think in the microcosm of last night, as a Nebraska fan, you obviously want Nebraska to bury Iowa, put them away. But you got to know Iowa's comfortable in those moments, right? You got to know that they're okay taking things a possession at a time. That's the way Ben McCollum's always operated, the way Combs was rolling, the way Sturts can get a shot at any point. You knew it was going to be tough to put the Hawkeyes away. So it's disappointing maybe in some regards that Nebraska, missed maybe some early dagger threes by Mast in front of his own bench, and then followed by Sandfort that would have put Nebraska up, I think, 13 with about 5 to play, whereas Iowa hit pretty much every 3 they needed to stay in that game. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, I think you take your chances with Nebraska in those moments, those opportunities. They've pulled through in enough close games that, okay, it didn't work out last night until overtime, but I think Nebraska's proven it's solid enough, it's sturdy enough, it's fine enough in big games. Yeah, most of the games they've lost have been close by single digits outside of UCLA, but Nebraska's also won its fair share of close games. Nebraska's not just getting lucky at the end of games, and Nebraska's not terribly unlucky at the end of close games. I still think I would trust Nebraska's track record, especially when they get to games against teams they're less familiar with after, the first round of the Big Ten tournament and beyond. I think teams that have seen Nebraska less, that, will leave Nebraska maybe that one step more open. I think Nebraska's fine in close games still.
Yeah. I mean, I think it builds you a ton of confidence. Number one, that you can work through a team that wants to play this game, get you into kind of that like rock fight, that kind of slow down, methodical type, and then they surprise you a little bit. I mean, Iowa plays a lot like their football team.
Yeah.
They do. They
Yeah.
like close games, and they think that they're going to eventually win it. So it's no different. So for them to be able to win in a different way, I think, bodes well down the stretch, both in the Big Ten tournament and the big one. And I like Nebraska's, moxie too. Different guys have stepped up at different times. When you look at it, like, look, Gail Jacobson, your leading scorer.
Yeah, Hoiberg and Sanford all tied with 15 points, but Jacobson will get the credit for the steal at the end of regulation on Sturz that led to a layup, and then Jay, two of the biggest shots he's hit in his life, and he's hit some big ones.
Yeah, and throw in 8 big boards and 2 assists, and
with no turnovers, by the way.
Yeah, and a steal. So, look, it's not who plays, it's how they play, and they play. He played pretty well, so you got to give him credit. He had to step up scoring wise with Jamarcus a little bit. Downturn, Braden wasn't able really to get going, even though he had 4 free throws. And so this is where Kale played extended minutes. The Braden playing 18, Kale 30. It's usually flipped.
Yeah,
that's depth on your team. And then you got a big 3 by Garcia. Hey, no question 3 either though. Kick it to the corner. I knew before I knew that thing was going up.
So did he.
Yeah, and it was wet too. So look, I mean, big man came through it. I think it's just a victory that they needed, especially after UCLA, but then obviously going into this weekend, kind of can get this celebratory thing out of you, get back to work, you get the triple bye, you don't have the disappointment of maybe playing on Thursday versus Friday, and all that stuff, and you did something where you got something tangible. You are the number 2 seed, and that's probably really, when you look at the whole season, I know people don't like to look at it like that. When you look at the whole season, Nebraska probably is right where they should be.
Yeah.
Michigan is, step better. Obviously, we saw probably been more consistent, beat some bigger, better teams, or played, bigger and better games. Nebraska's right on the heels. And, if Nebraska can get one more bite at that apple, I'd like to see him lock up one more time.
We'll talk about that game coming up in our next segment. But, Jay, for Kale Jacobson, 15 points on 6 of 6, shooting overall, the 8 rebounds, like you mentioned, as well as 2 assists in helping lead Nebraska in scoring. Bryce Sanford in rank mass, 15 points and 14 points, respectively. Just a combined 4 of 13 from 3, but those guys were 7 of 8 at the free throw line, combined for 10 rebounds and 5 assists. That flurry to begin the second half is one that we haven't seen from Nebraska against a team of Iowa's caliber in a while. Yeah. Iowa had done such a good job of limiting Nebraska in transition. Nebraska's 8 fast break points on the day. We know it was a slog for Nebraska in the previous matchup to even get up to the number of threes they did, but Nebraska goes 10 of 27 from 3 on the game. In the second half, specifically, stat broadcast is not loading for me, but either way, Sanford and Mast in that first segment, in the first 4 minutes of the second half, Sanford for 3, got it to drop home, Mast got it, then Sanford got 2 in a row, and then Mast hit another one to put a punctuation mark on a huge opening salvo to start the second half that got Nebraska up by double digits for the first time. That was a huge moment in that game, even though Iowa would eventually come back to tie. But just for Nebraska, I think, to see the ball go through the rim, to be able to see that, hey, we can generate open threes with what we want to do against these guys. That's another thing I think should give Nebraska confidence no matter who they see down the road.
Yeah, well, because, and then also I think the energy and execution coming out of halftime.
Yes.
That's crucial, right? It's kind of either we start slow or start fast, then we don't finish the first half good, start slow the second half, or vice versa. So, but then also having different actions to get guys some open shots, not quick one, like off the first or second pass. We can play late, and then next thing you know, they'll have an adjustment to it, and they'll either get you an easy bucket like they did for Braden, where they both chased Sanford, and they're using their star player as a decoy, but not so much that he doesn't get busy on you. So sometimes your greatness or your great season can work to an advantage of all your teammates, and that's what they're doing. They're getting guys and they're shooting at the spots that I've noticed that they hit well at least Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's good to see Rink hit a couple. Once he saw that going, I think the confidence is there, and now you kind of got through it, right? I think they mentioned been about 16 games, and it hasn't been from a lack of effort. Now, granted, you probably 4 of those probably were health related, right? Like being sick and a little banged up, and so he's on the one. If you get Rink going from the outside, and then you can get Price and get that nice little 8 points out of Burke. And then you can flip flop Braden, and then you could throw like Garcia in there. Nebraska, you're gonna be in some trouble because they're gonna run. These dudes are like the Jimmy Chitwood and all them dudes from Hoosiers,
right?
They running you off screens. Well, I guarantee dudes is like, man, I'm tired of this.
Just staying still, dang it. That's what they do.
Constant motion, and then they lock you up on defense. So I think it's good.
Let's talk about that defense, Jay. Iowa does score 75 points on the game. They come back to knot it at 70 at the end of regulation. 44 points in the second half when Iowa goes 17 of 28 from the floor. Obviously, Cale Combs was a big part of that for the Hawkeyes. Career day for him. He ends up with 18 points, 7 of 14 overall, 2 of 5 from 3. Also 2 of 5 at the free throw line with 5 rebounds and 3 assists. But Ben McCollum said it post-game. Fred Hoiberg mentioned it a little bit as well. Nebraska made a different gamble. They made a different gambit, right? At the end of the game in Iowa City, all Iowa was doing was matchup hunting. Who can we get Bennett Sturts matched up on? It was Bryce Sanford at times. It was Braden Frager at times. Yesterday, Nebraska, threw the whole book at Bennett Sturts. They wanted the ball out of his hands, and they wanted other players to beat them. Koch had his moments. Banks came up big for a moment there in overtime. Obviously, Combs was the hero late in regulation, getting downhill and into the rim. Not to call anyone out or go at anyone, I still think that even though maybe it wasn't the best box score day for Bennett Sturts, it was maybe a learning moment for Iowa, to learn how to play through other guys, but also a testament to Nebraska is that it almost bit them, letting other guys, go the distance and try to carry Iowa home, but they didn't let the guy that beat him last time beat him. That's growth. That's learning. Nebraska made his life difficult. 11 points on 4 of 10 shooting, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. You didn't let Iowa's best player dictate or control the game. That's a step in the right direction.
It was a big step. You got to think also you turned them over 19 times.
Yeah.
And between their 2 guards, 8 of those turnovers. So, I think it was a really good calculated risk. I'm fine with that. Sometimes it's like, you always hear about Bill Belichick. Let's take away the top 2 or 3 things they do. They beat us another way, so be it. You're not really going to be happy that you lose, but, the shot by Combs, that's a once-in-a-Iowa career shot.
That Nebraska had every opportunity to get. I think Buchengel just misread the guy he was supposed to get, right? And maybe you assume the ball's coming off the rim, and he made the right read, but with it being an air ball, Fulgaris kind of crashed along the baseline. It was in perfect position. Sanford had a little bit of a body on that other Iowa player. If Buchengel takes Fulgaris, game's over right then and there.
Right, so... But you got to give him credit. He hit big shots. He had a really good game. But I think Nebraska was able to turn him over enough that, and also I think, got Bennett Sturts uncomfortable. Meaning that he didn't know. He's the type of player. Now, whether you think he's good, like if you don't think he's a good player, then I can't respect your opinion. Like, okay, people were saying he was a great player coming in, and if you want to go back to good, that's fine. It's a big step up. He's given everybody the business, including us, all year long.
Mm-hmm. After playing D2 basketball 2 years ago.
He's been giving everybody the business all year long.
Mm-hmm.
He's the haircut man. Anything you want, he gave it to you. Straight up. Now, what he was able to do is, I think the defense hurt him shooting-wise, right? It wasn't very efficient. But I think once he realized, okay, I'm getting everything at me. I'm getting all different body types. I'm not on my spots. He allowed everybody else to go to work. Now, they just didn't have enough in the tank, but I think he wasn't able to take over in overtime either.
Right.
Because you already deposited what you needed to do earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they played a third time, I'm sure they would have some sort of adjustment off of it. But I think Nebraska did a really good job. They would say you like cut off the head of the snake, the body will follow. The body stayed around a little bit longer than you're not, but then you had to put the dagger in it. But I think that's how you have to attack. If you watched Iowa, I watched them against Washington and Oregon. He was flat out unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched him the first Nebraska game. I wouldn't say he was unstoppable, but he was
in control.
He was doing what he wanted at not at will, but close to it. He's a good player. He's not like, he's not Kobe or anything like that, but he's definitely a really good college player.
He's maybe not an all-time college legend, but I mean, even in 1 year, he's top 5 Iowa point guards of all time.
Yeah.
Maybe you can at least have that conversation. And for the era, what he's been able to do, again, working his way up from Northwest Missouri State to Drake, leading an NCAA tournament team, and now to Iowa, where he's leading yet another NCAA tournament team, is impressive. There's a reason that the all Big Ten teams are going to take a while, I think, to decide, because you got to go between Sturtz, Braden Smith. You got to look at Jeremy Fears, despite everything else that's transpired
and
on the court.
On,
Bruce
Thornton. Yeah, that was about to say.
He's been dang good.
They might make the tournament too.
They might. They also might not. Lamar Wilkerson's been a good 2-guard. Obviously, Price Sanford's a 2 or a 3. Some people would throw Sam Hoiberg in that conversation. Donovan Dent's really come alive lately. And there's plenty of other, Boswell and obviously Wagler from Illinois. There's a ton of great guards. So Sturtz might not be a first-team All Big Ten player, but that's not a knock on him.
No.
That's a testament to how deep the Big Ten's guard, and backcourt situation is this year specifically.
And you can say he wasn't very good yesterday, with also recognize that Nebraska made him not very good.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the best way to look at it, because he's a dang good player.
Yeah.
And Nebraska's made a lot of really good players look average at times. They're a really good defensive team. Give them credit.
Last thing then, Jay Dogman says Cale Jacobson gets last night's game ball. Could have ended up in his hands as he corrals the rebound, but he gives it off to senior Sam Hoiberg on Sam Hoiberg's senior day. Jay, really cool moment there at the end of the game. Nebraska goes on a 9-0 run over the last, call it, minute 15 before they dribble out the final 15 seconds of the shot clock. The Jacobson 3 got it going. You had the free throws from Sam Hoiberg, and then the steal out of the 1-3-1 for a lay-in by Jamarcus Lawrence. Really cool moment near half court there for Cale Jacobson to give the ball over to Sam Hoiberg. Emotional scenes in Lincoln, a key senior class for this program. Fred Hoiberg won 24 games in his first 3 years. This senior class was a big piece of helping him win 26 in just one season.
Yeah, I mean, I think, those two are just embody the program. And they went through the grind together. Obviously, I just feel a little. I was able to watch Sam in high school.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. Like, I felt like he could go somewhere like Division I. Just watching him in high school, I seen him play against really some guys that went on to the next level, and he was just fine. I mean, he did. I mean, he's doing the same thing. I thought both of them were really good. But for him to transform himself into where he's at right now, it's just that's what you want. He's a program builder, and same with Cale. So those two and the whole gesture thing, that's that true team right there. The game's in hand. It's a big deal for Sam. Sam's, his career's, really taken off over the last 2 years, 2 seasons.
Yeah,
two and a
half.
quarter seasons.
Yeah.
Towards the end where he played and really showed his value and got tremendously better. What else can you say? Where he started, where he's ended, and where he's going. You can't beat it.
I do have to shout out a guy, Jay, from Cover Your Ears, Racine, Wisconsin. My boy Matt Hardesty, for talking with Nebraska. He went to their game in Northwestern, and he said that talking to Sam Hoiberg's hopes were, walk on to Nebraska, get some work, get some film, go to the Patriot League. And now here he is, all Big Ten defensive team member, almost assuredly, and key cog on a team that made history at Nebraska.
He was cold-blooded at Pius X. Is it Pius X or Pius X? Pius X?
I mean, I think people say Pius X, but the X stands for the 10th.
Yeah, he was cold-blooded there.
We have connections. We can ask.
Nick don't know any better. We need a true Pius.
There's another Pius guy over there.
He don't know either.
We ask Alex Bird when he comes in tomorrow from the Stars.
I don't know which one's worse. We gotta get somebody that's really a true Pius alum. Let us know if it's Pius the X or Pius the 10th.
I'm sure you know people. We can figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
We'll go to break. We'll talk through some big picture Nebraska men's basketball stuff. We look at Nebraska locking up the 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament. What's their draw? What's the path for them? Does Nebraska feel locked into a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament? Could the Huskers rise or fall? That's next. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. This is Old School on the Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Norman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
There are so many realtors in Lincoln and Omaha, but don't get overwhelmed by all the no-names, plus all the different companies. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Real Estate is your go-to option, whether buying or selling residential, luxury, leasing, investment properties, or commercial property, small or large. Ben's team offers decades of experience, unbeatable customer service, and promises to fully protect your interests throughout the entire transaction. Call 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador Real Estate.
Hey, fellas, March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. So here's your friendly reminder that ignoring your gut isn't a strategy on the field or in real life. Once you hit 45, screening isn't optional anymore. It can literally save your life. Advanced medical imaging makes it easy with fast, comfortable CT colonography. No hospital hoops, no all-day ordeal. Just a simple scan that helps you stay ahead of the game. Talk to your doctor about getting your screening ordered at AMI and keep yourself in the lineup for the long run.
Stop into Zollner Florida Beatrice for Truck Month. Check out 0% financing with approved credit on all F-150s excluding Raptor. Or save up to $11,000 off MSRP on select 2025 SDX and XLT models in stock. Check out many service specials as well. $20 rebate on the Works package or up to $50 off new brakes and rotors. Maverick, Ranger, Super Duty, F-150 or Bronco. It's Truck Month at Zollner Florida Beatrice, Nebraska's volume dealer with the hometown service you expect.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more. Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine. Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than preparing for retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I agree. And I'd like to help. I'm your Edward Jones financial advisor, Ryan Buck. Together, we can give you a long-term strategy, the attention it deserves. Contact me today at 402-483-0377. Again, that's 402-483-0377. Stop by our office at 8380 Old Cheney Road. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in. It is Old School. Austin Foreman and Jay Foreman with you. Want to give a big shout out to the good folks over at Schwezo Construction. At Schwezo, safety isn't just a policy, it's a promise. Schwezo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back both on and off the job site. Apply today at schwezo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com. 40 years strong in business. Schwezo Construction. Bunch of great people over there. I know you will be in good hands if you decide to move your career that direction over to Schwezo. Again, SCHWISOW.com. Jay, with the win, Nebraska secures the number 2 seed in the Big Ten tournament, one spot higher than Nebraska was just 2 seasons ago. They get the 3 seed, and they matched up with number 2 seed Illinois, led by Terrence Shannon Jr. in the Big Ten semifinals. Of course, that was just a double bye for Nebraska back in the day. Huskers wrap up a triple bye. They won't play until Friday. Let's just go ahead and start with that. Good thing for Nebraska to be off that long. Do you think if Nebraska was looking to win the Big Ten tournament, be beneficial, be back in action a little bit sooner? What do you make of the 4-day break for the Big Red?
Well, if you just look at the last one, obviously from UCLA to here, I think is good. Late in the season, I think this team is mature enough. If it was a very immature team, that wasn't as consistent as this team as far as mindset goes, then I'd say the 4-day break is too much. But I think it's the perfect amount, and they can lock back in because they know they got a big challenge ahead of them. I'm assuming this team is trying to make a serious run. Not going to be dissatisfied with being number 2 seed, and then obviously trying to build on something to get into the big tournament.
We're getting to a couple of texts here regarding the Pius question. Bill and Bennett says, I went to Pius X in the late 70s, but Justin from Hickman says, Pius people will get mad at you if you refer to it as the letter.
There it is.
So I guess you're referring to it as the letter from here on out.
Oh, yeah. Pius the X. Yeah.
Exclusively.
We just call them the X Factors.
There you go.
Yeah.
I still need an answer to what a thunderbolt is. I know what a lightning bolt is. Don't know what a thunderbolt is, but that's another question for another time. Jays, we look at Nebraska on the bottom of the Big Ten bracket. First round opponent for Nebraska will be the winner of Purdue and then either Penn State, Northwestern, or Indiana. When you look at Nebraska, you mentioned their motivation in this tournament. To me, it feels like a little bit similar to what Indiana went through in the football realm, right? Obviously, the work's been done. Nebraska is more than safe in the NCAA tournament. We'll talk about big picture NCAA tournament stuff here in just a minute. But I don't think this is a tournament, to your point, that Nebraska is just punting on, right? What's the point of going out there if you're not going to compete? But winning the first Big Ten title in school history, yeah, you finished 4 games back in Michigan, but you pushed them in their building down a couple key players. You have a chance for some get back potentially on Purdue. You get a chance to maybe double down against Michigan State if that's how it goes in the semis. But I think this is a fantastic opportunity to add to the ledger of history that they can make, because if you think about the Indiana football example, they didn't need to win the Big Ten championship game, right? Playing that game or not playing that game, they're the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff. But you saw how much it meant to those players, that coaching staff, and that fan base to claim the mantle of Big Ten champions. I think it would mean something very similar to Nebraska.
Winning is something that you can't take lightly. And when you get into tournament time, you want to really test yourself, and so you're ready to go for the big tournament. And there's nothing better than going through a mini grind, and you're set up pretty good to work less. You know what I'm saying? You're not starting, you're not playing obviously early. You're playing after you're playing the winner of Purdue and I don't know who
either Indiana, Penn State, or Northwestern.
Right. So favorable matchups or good matchups, so you feel very comfortable getting off the bus. and you want to test yourself. If I don't think, again, maturity of this team, by no means are they like, oh, let's just get through this game and let's just, we're only focused on the tournament. That's how you get a first round exit.
Yeah.
And I don't think Fred and those guys are going to do it. I think they went through their lull this year and they battled their way through it. Got a little reminder of it against UCLA. And I think they learned from it, judging by their performance yesterday. And they're going to do the same come, Friday at 5:30.
Friday, 5:30, Nebraska in the Big Ten men's basketball tournament quarterfinals. Michigan is the 1, Illinois the 4. If Nebraska makes it to the semis, presumptively their opponent would be Michigan State. Below Nebraska in the bracket, it'll be Rutgers and Minnesota for the right to face UCLA. Winner of that game will move on to face Michigan State then in the quarters. And Jay, we can use this as a moment to transition and talk about both the Big Ten and the NCAA tournaments kind of in conjunction here. Most of the bracketology sites, if you want to look at that, have Nebraska as a pretty solid 3. I think Nebraska is in pretty good standing where they can't suffer a bad loss. They've been better than Purdue on the aggregate, but that's still a name brand. I don't think people would knock Nebraska all the way down to a 4 should Nebraska, go one and done in the Big Ten tournament. But Jay, let's say that Nebraska plays Purdue, Michigan State, and Michigan. If Nebraska wins the Big Ten tournament, if they get to 29-5 and they have the mantle of Big Ten tournament champions, there's a non-zero possibility that Nebraska sneaks up to the 2 line.
Yeah. Yeah, if that happens, I mean, that's a whole different conversation. Both, here locally and nationally.
Mm-hmm.
They would turn the whole tournament upside down.
Yeah.
And they would have to respect that business. So it's another great opportunity for them to do so. And so, the faster they can, get to work on whoever they play Friday night and look at the next opponent, it's all winnable. I mean, there's not a team that they face that they can't win or beat or play well against and go on a run.
When you look at kind of that big picture stuff in terms of a rooting interest for Nebraska, I think you have to look a couple different directions. First of all, to the Big East, where I think you would need UConn to either play really well and lock up a 1 seed or fall completely flat on its face. Go one and done in the Big East Conference tournament. UConn's kind of hovering around that 5th or 6th position right now. And then the Big 12. I really think the other place that you have to go, I don't think anyone in the ACC is jumping up to a 2 line, certainly not Virginia at this point as the number 2 team in the ACC. But Arizona won't drop below a 2, even if they go one and done. They've had, run into a rough patch of their own recently, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for Nebraska to catch and or surpass Iowa State, who ends up with the number 5 seed in the Big 12 tournament, maybe jump them in the pecking order on the 3 line at the very least. I think Nebraska's pretty comfortably ahead of Texas Tech in the 4th position there. Nebraska and Kansas have gone back and forth, I think, in some of those 3 line discussions. Kansas has some really incredible wins, but some really bad losses on the resume that the Nebraska doesn't have. And of course, really bad is relative, but Q2, maybe Q3 for Kansas, whereas all Nebraskas are in quad 1. The sneaky one, though, would be Houston, who ran into its own rough patch pretty recently, has its own issues and questions, but I think does have enough name brand and name recognition that, even if Houston goes one and done, loses to, say it's, I'm going to guess BYU or West Virginia there in the quarters, depending on how Houston looks, again, it would take Nebraska probably going 3-0 or at least going 2-1 with a respectable showing against Michigan. And then pretty much all those teams in the Big 12, not named Arizona, kind of falling flat and going one and done. I still think it's most likely Nebraska ends up as the number 10 or 11 overall seed, which would be right smack dab in the middle of a 3 line. But when you get to this time of the year, all you want is to control your own destiny. Nebraska has full control of its own destiny. They did against Iowa when they wanted to get the 2 seed. They weren't looking anywhere else for, we need this team to lose for us to jump. No, just win and you're the 2. Same thing for Nebraska. If they want to move up their seed line and move up in terms of, being protected geographically, everything Nebraska wants to accomplish for the most part is in its own hands.
Yeah, I mean, they can cause a lot of, ruckus, but they got to get through Friday first. Then you're really having those conversations because, I guess if Houston goes on the same type of run, they'll get the benefit of doubt based on last year.
Yeah. And the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that.
Right, and Calvin Sampson. But you got to think the way they've been playing and the remedy to what they have to do in order to remedy that, I don't know if they can do it in that shorter time in the tournament. I think they need
against that competition.
They're going to have to play.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally for us, if we're winning, we need to win our games. They lose, that works out well, and then they have to go back to like the lab.
Yeah.
Look, man, Nebraska's at. I mean, if it ever could set up to where you can like in the this is the second season. You just finished the regular season. Now we're going in our second season to really, like you already kind of like created a little bit of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go do some more stuff. Whereas, like, all right, let's knock some guys out of that too. And let's hurt some feelings, and then let's really make a good showing in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm. That's simple.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I kind of would like to see the approach I'd like to see them take.
Oh, and I'm assuming that's the approach that they will take. This has been a team that I think has done a pretty darn good job of blocking out the outside noise and conversations. Jay, for Nebraska's NCAA tournament purposes, I mean, obviously win on Friday against, we assume, Purdue. And then Saturday, you'd like another crack at Michigan State to double down, validate, say you beat them 2-0 the first, close game result in Lincoln back all the way at the start of the new year wasn't a fluke. But if you're looking at Nebraska winning the Big Ten tournament, I wouldn't hate Nebraska getting another shot at UCLA. If UCLA, wins and Michigan State's maybe a little rusty in their first game, it's not as quality a win in the eyes of the NCAA tournament selection committee, but for satisfaction's sake, I don't think Husker fans would see much wrong with getting a chance to beat UCLA for a chance to go play for a Big Ten title.
Yeah, I'd like to see that again, just because let's see if you guys can do it again, right?
Yeah.
Or was that magical night? And I'm sure Nebraska would like no other to get another shot at him as well. So, all this is great to talk about it because we've never been able to talk about Nebraska basketball like this to this extent. What if? How much chaos can we cover? Cause. We've been happy at times to go in at whatever seed they were against Texas A&M or like a 7-8 seed.
8-9.
You're right, 8-9. Now you're really up there with the upper echelon teams, and you're in the conversation. You're legit. Everybody respects you. People that really watch the game, and then you could really make people uncomfortable by going up there and handling your business, and then obviously getting some help.
Let's get to 9174 before we go to break. 9174 says the inconsistency of Big Ten officiating does not favor Nebraska's defensive scheme. I would almost go the opposite way, Jay, in that we've had more concerns and more issues with how Nebraska's officiated when the Huskers have the ball on offense, right? Because Nebraska's done a great job. I mean, they're a top 10, top 15 team in the country at defending without fouling.
Yeah.
They've been really solid all year defensively, and they haven't really gotten victimized by a ton of bad calls on that end. So I would be more worried about, how Nebraska gets officiated on the offensive end than anything.
Yeah, I think it's because that started with the Michigan game, right? Kind of where
really,
yeah. You're right, or Illinois too.
Michigan was right before Illinois.
Okay, then Michigan, then
week.
Yeah, that week, and then so really it's been odd, and I wouldn't say it's gotten worse, but it's been a little bit more lax with people how they guard Nebraska, and wouldn't say get away with some of it's a little bit of Nebraska's got to welcome that. Obviously, it came to a head at Iowa. Tried to do a little bit more yesterday. So as far as Nebraska playing defense, I'm fine with this. But as far as how Nebraska and how you ref a game where Nebraska's playing, it's going to tell you how the game could possibly go in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, but Nebraska needs to understand that and then plan accordingly. And once you do that, I'm good, then you'll be just fine, which I think they did a better job of yesterday.
Arden Lockheim on postgame yesterday asked me a question. Is Nebraska playing, midseason form right now? Jay, I answered last night, no, I don't think Nebraska is, operating at its peak. Nebraska's still pretty darn good. But I do think that as we get to tournament time on, longer preps, on shorter turnarounds at the same time, and also when you get into the NCAA tournament when teams haven't seen Nebraska before, I think we'll see one of the better versions of Nebraska, at least from a process standpoint, because for the last month and a half, all I've heard from opposing coaches is Nebraska is such a unique prep. They do things so differently, both on offense and on defense. Teams in the Big Ten, we talk about familiarity all the time, especially with Iowa, with Northwestern seeing Nebraska twice and some other Illinois a second time as well in there. Teams get a little more used to what you do, but you get new officials who haven't seen you before, which could benefit you. And you get teams that don't really know what they want to do against what you want to do because they see it in living color for the first time. I think that this is a chance for Nebraska to really take off again.
Well, the best part of it is that they don't have the type of personnel that you face in the Big Ten. So
Right.
even though you can see how Michigan did it, or Michigan State, or Illinois the second game, or whatever, whoever you deem is being successful at shutting Nebraska down, UCLA included, you don't have those players.
Right.
So you're in some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch all the tape you want, but when you look around in the basketball facility, you don't see somebody that you don't see.
They don't look like us.
They don't look like you don't have those guys. Well, you better knuckle up and find it. Then you're going to really have to be basic, and then once you get basic, you're going to be in some trouble.
All heads
to bed nightly with some magnesium.
There you have it. He's Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. Short segment here to wrap up hour 2. Then in hour 3, Westy, you're setting the stage. NFL legal tampering in full effect today. Been a wild day across the NFL. We'll get to that. That's going to be the entirety of hour 3 of the show. Come back with us. It's Old School.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever. 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
At Planet Fitness, we're getting strong for the season's biggest games. Join now and your first month is free. Whether you're chasing a buzzer beater or your everyday goals, we've got next level amenities like red light recovery and hydro massage to help you rebound and recover. Plus, with the PF Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and access over 2,800 locations. Join now for $1 down, $24.99 a month, and get your first month free. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, March 13th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
John just tried Runza's new Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger with its sweet heat bacon jam, pepper jack cheese, bacon, and cream cheese.
Whoa, this burger's like totally.
What?
You know, boom, 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 boom.
Not sure I'm getting it.
It's totally jammin'.
Ah, I see. Well, don't jam with your mouth full. Try the Jammin' Bacon Cheeseburger. Because from the way we make it to the way it makes you feel, Runza makes it all better.
Biggest question people have is, how do I start the process? What is the process? I want to build a new home, but I don't know what the first step is.
Bob Benish is the founder and president of Aspen Builders, online at aspenbuildersinc.com.
The first step is make an appointment. Come on into my office. Let's sit around the table. Let's talk about what you're looking for, what your needs are, what your budget might be. And let's come up with some answers on what we're going to build, where we're going to build it, and what it's going to cost. And get a house that you're going to be happy with. So now is really the time to be contacting us to get an appointment to get the job done. Once you find a good lot, let's get it reserved because there's a very limited number of lots in this town. And then start designing that floor plan that's going to be perfect for you. Next thing you know, we're moving dirt.
Make your dream home a reality and call Aspen Builders at 423-6811. Online at aspenbuildersinc.com. Your home is waiting at Aspen Builders.
In a world where Wi-Fi battles rage and bandwidth is never enough, one family dares to connect it all. Work from home, influence all day, stream all night, and game to win. Deadlines, downloads, and dance-offs, all happening under one roof, flawlessly. Can your internet provider do that? Fiber fuel your household at allofiber.com/all-in.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with a light breeze. Be very warm and afternoon high near 78. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, below around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies, be breezy and cooler, the high near 65. I'm meteorologist Kyle Lucky for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Back to old school with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wrapping up hour 2 of Old School. Big thanks to Love Volleyball Nebraska sponsoring the final segment of hour 2 of our shows. In action again at home at Baxter Arena coming up here on March 18th. They've got Love Volleyball Atlanta in town. Playoff push in full swing. Make sure you catch every rally, every set live at Baxter Arena. LOVBNEB.com/tickets to secure your seat. Jay, let's get this part out of the way before we get into the moves that have been happening across the NFL. Legal tampering period opened up today. New league year hasn't begun, but maybe take people through what legal tampering is, how it came about, like what's the purpose of, getting these deals done on Monday when the league year will open up on Wednesday.
It always happened, right?
Yeah.
So the agents would already, even as, far back as the combine, have soft deals in place. And then, if the free agency started on Sunday, you start hearing about deals and guys going places, as early as Friday. So the NFL decided, all right, we'll give you 2 days to kind of get it all out of place. And so you kind of keep the, honor, a little bit. And so that's just where it's at. It's the first wave of free agency. You see some big contracts. You see some big trades. Trades are a lot more, they happen a lot more now. For picks or players, you see some big name guys like Tua get cut, signed right away. That was already in the works, right? Because your agent already knows whether they're going to keep you or not. You can listen. You can go back to the first quote from the GM, knowing he was gone. But Atlanta, you get Tua, a winning quarterback for the cheap, and you don't believe in Penix, or you could use Tua to mentor Penix.
Get Kirk Cousins out of town.
Kirk Cousins already going to be gone, but Miami's going to play 95% of the salary.
Yeah.
So it's
same thing for what Arizona's doing with Kyler Murray.
It's a no-brainer. So it's just 48 hours to get some deals done, kind of get it going, and then you'll see a second wave in those first couple of days to sign, and then you have a little bit of a lull by the weekend comes, and then you'll kick back up and you'll get some more fair market deals, or actually teams will actually get bargains, because you'll get a player that, say there was, 6 linebackers and 3 of them got signed. Now you still get some guys that are supposed to go in the first wave in the second, so you'll get some bargain shopping there.
Major League Baseball has its winter meetings when a lot of trades and free agency deals get hammered out. The NBA has really been the other sport that has had to deal with tampering. Of course, the Knicks lost a second-round pick not that long ago for tampering. Should other leagues kind of adopt this, kind of DMZ, this gray zone waiting period where contact is allowed, but the deals can't become official till the
Yeah, I mean, they even added it now that where instead of you're signing guys sight unseen, they could do an hour Zoom call with them.
That's right.
Right. So,
yeah.
I mean,
how big is that as a player?
Well, I mean, I think look, like if I was a free agent, I know who Andy Reid is. I've never talked to him. I've always been on the other side. You probably want to get a feel for the GM. You want to see their facial expressions, but also you may want, I'm assuming you get to talk to in my case, the linebacker coach. I mean, the deal will probably still get done, but you want to just feel them out a little bit. You know, you'll know whether you're, let me see what's on the big deal. Whether you're Pittman going to Pittsburgh and the excitement of, you know, McCarthy getting him versus when the Houston Texans signed Brock Osweiler at sight unseen. And like, oh,
yeah,
this is why Denver didn't want you back. But we just gave you $60 million. So, or if you're Kirk Cousins, I would have liked to look the GM in the face and maybe try to forecast with my agent whether you were going to draft a quarterback after you just gave me $100 million and I moved my family down from Minnesota.
Might like to have that conversation.
Have that conversation. And, you know, but either way, I think everything they're trying to do, they're just trying to not look such like fools, I guess, you know, because a lot of deals were done way beforehand.
Let's go ahead and talk about some of those deals. We will start in the AFC, where I think it's been a little bit busier. We'll move to the NFC in segment 2 of Hour 3. Cubsker, Wes, you got questions on this? We'll talk about that all when we get back to Old School.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Looking to get a room downtown or near South Lincoln? Abe Lincoln would tell you no to the Ford Theater and yes to Lincoln Hotel. Save up to 40% off downtown Lincoln prices with a nice clean room and comfortable stay. Lincoln Hotel is locally owned and offers a day pass to the city's largest locally owned gym, Good Life Fitness. Long-term stays are available. You can learn more about pricing and book your Lincoln Hotel stay today at staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565. That's staylnk.com or call 402-600-0565.
Are you looking for something different for lunch or dinner in Lincoln? Big 8 is now open at 1226 P Street, serving seafood boils and Asian cuisine. Get your hands messy with fresh, flavorful seafood boils, hot, bold, and made to share. Or enjoy classic Chinese and Asian dishes, perfect for lunch, dinner, or a night out with friends and family. Big flavors, generous portions, and a brand new dining experience. Big 8, now open in Lincoln.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, buddy, here we go. Just keep your eye on the ball. All right, just swing right through it. Yeah, good job. Way to go. Hey, run it out. Okay.
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Nutrition Authority presents Fusion 30, an ultra premium protein ideal for anyone wanting to look, feel, and perform their best. Fusion 30 can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today for a free sample, visit with a certified nutritionist, and get better than internet pricing. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sauterheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
The place you call home should always be a place of comfort. Warm and cozy in winter, cool and relaxing in summer. If your home isn't delivering the comfort you expect, call Bryant. It's more than just hot and cold to them. It's about providing the best comfort solutions. And Bryant gives you a full 24-month test drive on your home comfort system. Get full details at BryantLincoln.com or call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Coming at you live from the heart of downtown Lincoln, this is Old School with Foreman and Orman. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score! Foreman got it, and it's touchdown Huskers.
Black shirts answer the call one more time.
And Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman is sponsored by Graham Tire Company of Lincoln, your tire store next door with 4 Lincoln locations. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. Welcome in. It is hour 3 of Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you, leaning on Jay's NFL experience and takes here in this final hour. Leaning on Graham Tire.
I wish I had the experience of these brothers again, boy. Dang.
Well, you have the experience.
I got the experience. I ain't got it
check.
like that. We need to reincarnate myself.
You can try again. I believe in you.
Come back reincarnated.
Just unfile those papers. Agent still got contacts, I'm sure. So not saying it can't happen, but we'll take you here for today, at very least, to walk through day 1 of legal tampering in the NFL. We're also leaning on Graham Tire to get us where we want to go. Graham Tire gets you to where you want to go, where matters most to you. All right, Jay, let's start in the AFC. We'll start with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now we got a big Chiefs contingent here. Travis Kelce back on a 1-year deal worth between $12 and $15 million. Okay, so that saga is put to bed pretty early. Maybe not the decision he would have made if he didn't think Patrick Mahomes would be ready to start the season or early in the season.
Yeah, I think the bigger thing it's not only Patrick Mahomes. I mean, these guys, they're in business together. They got a steakhouse or something like that. I think they just opened. There's a great relationship with Andy Reid and the Chiefs. It's been very hard to see him go somewhere else, considering the Chiefs wanted him back versus, like, you look at the Mike Evans deal, you kind of saw the writing on the wall. But I think the biggest factor was Eric Bieniemy coming back. People didn't want to give him credit. They obviously see what it's like without him.
Right.
And him coming back, knowing the details, the aggressiveness, and then what Eric Bieniemy has brought out of Travis Kelce, and also the awareness to make sure that he puts Travis in the best position to be successful. Mm-hmm. So that's why there's a multitude of reasons to come back.
Elsewhere then on the Kansas City Chiefs offense, they agreed to terms with Kenneth Walker, 25-year-old running back. They're giving a 3-year deal to. Jay, this is a Chiefs offense that in the last 2 seasons has had the lowest and third lowest explosive rushing rate of any running back room of at least the 2000s. Kenneth Walker on his own, 461 missed tackles last year, according to PFF. The Chiefs backfield, 49 missed tackles. 1 20-yard run from the Chiefs last year from Isaiah Pacheco. Kenneth Walker had 20 of his own. Now the question becomes, if you're the Chiefs, more worth it to give a proven guy that's still relatively young like Walker the deal, or would you have maybe gone the running back route early in the draft potentially and, spend a draft pick as opposed to free agency dollars?
Well, I think they've done that with the draft before, and they ended up with Pacheco. I think was it Hilaire was
CEH.
and now his situation is different based on some off the field stuff, which had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
He witnessed a pretty gruesome, situation. So take that, aside. I'm going with Kenneth Walker. Now they had been all but connected with Brees Hall.
Yeah.
And that got nixed at the 23rd hour by the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jets still haven't paid him, which is the weirdest thing ever. But
it's the most Jets thing ever.
But I think the Kenneth Walker, the way that they're trying to get back to what they want to do, line up and punch you dead in the face. I think if they get Simmons back healthy with their line, with Humphrey, you'll see a different version of the Chiefs. So I like going with Walker.
They also lose Gardner Minshew to Arizona, so they'll be in the market for a new backup quarterback. And they sign a defensive tackle away from the Patriots. Jay, the Ravens, really interesting day so far for them. They lose both their second and third tight ends. Isaiah Likely goes to the Giants, and Charlie Kohler, Purdue guy, goes to the Chargers with Jim Harbaugh, which, okay, they have Mark Andrews. And what else? This is not the same Mark Andrews from even 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, but they probably think that they have a pretty good well, first of all, it's a regime change.
It is.
Okay,
yes.
So this is going to be a different Lamar. This is going to be a different Ravens team. And then they also have, I don't know his name, Ricard, that can play tight end as well.
Ricard,
so you don't lose.
He's kind of that super back like Northwestern.
He's a super back. Yeah. He's a tight end. He's 300 pounds. He can run. It actually elevates him to be an inline blocker. They're going to probably draft a tight end within the first 3 rounds. And not Sadiq or anybody like that, a big physical tight end. They got a couple coming from Ohio State. So I think they'll be able to replenish that, likely outprice themselves. They didn't want to pay premium for a blocking tight end. They figure that they can get back to it because it'll be a different Baltimore Ravens offense, ideally.
Starting up front as well, Baltimore loses center Tyler Linderbaum to the Las Vegas Raiders. The money on this is pretty incredible, Jay. Linderbaum now getting paid $27 million per year. That's $9 million more per year than Creed Humphrey, who was the previous highest paid center at $18 million per year. So there's that aspect of it. The $27 million is 8.96% of the league salary cap, which is almost 2% higher than that Creed Humphrey deal. And this from Bill Barnwell of ESPN. Remember that the Ravens declined Linderbaum's 5th-year option and then didn't tag him because the franchise tag was out of line for the center market at $25.8 million for this year. He just got 27.
Yeah. Yeah. And they knew it was a big, you started hearing about the combine or at the combine that his number was going to be pretty hefty. Now look, he's one of the top centers in the league.
Yeah.
I think it hurts the Ravens because they drafted him pretty high out of Iowa.
Yeah.
So you really didn't even get the second contract for him. He's just now getting into his prime and he's gone. So you wasted a first-round pick on him. Not wasted, but you don't see any fruits of your labor with it. And if I'm Lamar, I need him back. Right. And you know what I'm saying?
That's my dude.
Right. And so now he's starting over. Now I know they signed somebody, but he's nowhere near that. And for the Raiders, it's interesting because they had just picked a center in the 2nd round, but they kind of
that was JPJ from Oregon.
But they kind of moved him around. He's actually better at center. Then they moved him at guard. He's okay. And then so it's going to be interesting how you mix with that because I think that JPJ is pretty good. He just hasn't had the coaching to go with that.
Well, and think about this: they signed a veteran voice in Tyler Linderbaum for presumptively Fernando Mendoza.
Right. Yeah. Well, of course. If you want to, we've seen that with the Peyton Manning and everybody else. The biggest adjustment besides the speed of the game for Mendoza will be blitz pickup and all that. Who better than to have him is an ascending center, one of the best in the league, that you guys are going to be able to go through the process together. So listen, Tyler Linderbaum, when Mendoza gets in town, you need to be pulling up in that black truck with him. That's my best friend.
Yeah.
Because I want another contract with you. I'm going to make you the best player possible.
How was your steak dinner? Would you like another?
Well, look at Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
You make a 13-year career and Peyton's comfortable with you. If Mendoza becomes the player that he hopefully or they hope he's going to be, you don't make the decisions, but the quarterback is the most important decision.
Yeah.
How much do you like playing with him? Do you think you can adjust with another guy? No, I don't. I need him because if you lose a center, you're going to lose your quarterback.
Pretty quick. Speaking of quarterback being the most important decision, Jay, let's talk through a little bit of the Tua Tagovailoa fallout. So they cut him, the Dolphins do, to sign Malik Willis. 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 million guaranteed, so $15 million per year guaranteed for Malik Willis. It's a guy that was drafted by Tennessee, never really got a fair shake, had his career resurrected in Green Bay, filling in for Jordan Love. My Packers fan brother was a little apoplectic, thinking that Jordan Love's absolutely going to get banged up. It was nice to have a competent backup, but it's kind of the way of the world. If you show that you got a little something as a backup, and, that's just really cheap quarterback money for a franchise like Miami, coming off of paying Tua what they did for what they got out of him, I get the gamble for both sides on this one.
I mean, for Malik Willis, you got to think you were the belle of the ball about the middle of your senior year, go to the combine, do well. Had all the awesome interviews. For whatever reason, you slid to Tennessee. They never really gave you a shot. They turned the page on you as fast as you got in town. You go to Green Bay, and I think you're going to see this a lot more now. You've seen it with Sam Darnold, right? You've seen it with other quarterbacks. Now you've seen it with Geno Smith. You've seen it with Sam Darnold. You've seen it with Malik Willis. You go somewhere. Oh, and also you've seen it with your boy Mac Jones. Eventually he'll get signed somewhere. Is that you go, you sit, you learn. You got a really good coach in LaFleur. You've seen it with Baker Mayfield too. There's like 80 quarterbacks, or like 6 quarterbacks I just named, and you play well, and they project how you will be, for a season. And he's played really well. And the GM from Green Bay is a GM and the head coach.
Yeah.
They have big Green Bay ties down there in Miami, and they like him. And also, it's also reflective of the 2026 class. And Miami isn't so contract strong that if they are in the middle of the first round, and because there's going to be a lot of first round quarterbacks supposedly in 2027, Malik Willis can still be there on a 1-year prove it, still getting paid pretty decent, 20-some million, and you can still add a rookie in there as well at that pay grade. So they have it covered both short-term and long-term potentially. And Malik Willis comes in and lights it up, then that's your franchise quarterback on the cheap.
On the cheap, which it kind of had to be for those reasons you mentioned. Also, the fact they have $99 million in dead cap money from Tua Tagovailoa's contract.
Yeah, 60. Is it 60, 50 or 60 this year?
And then 30 or 40.
30 or 40 next year. Yeah. It's a huge risk, or just it lets you know we're doing a reset. I like this guy better than you. You don't have to worry about when you go to Buffalo playing in cold weather. I think Tua out war is welcome. I think they turned the page from the top. That means Stephen Ross when they put him on the bench. And then some of the things you've seen with Tua, and you know what, for Tua, and I'll give Tua his credit. How they did him and put him in harm's way, they owe him all that money.
Oh yeah, go get it.
You were one more concussion probably from dying. On the field.
Like, no joke.
No
dying.
joke. Yeah. So get all your money to they reset. They're trying to turn the page on that. And then, we'll see what Malik Willis does. So it's actually a win-win it's a win for Atlanta. It's a win for Malik. It's a win for the Dolphins.
Speaking of the Dolphins, they also trade Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Jets. He'll get a 3-year, $40 million extension to be a part of Aaron Glenn's defense. 1 interception for Minkah Fitzpatrick last year. One more than the Jets' entire defense had as a whole.
Yeah, well, look, it's an upgrade just on that alone. I think Minkah Fitzpatrick was originally at the Dolphins, went to the Steelers, got a taste of the good life, came back to that toxic environment in Miami. He wanted to get out of there. Plus, he got paid because sometimes your tape's better than your stats.
Yeah.
And also, you're looking for Minkah to play like Branch did up in Detroit.
Ooh, okay.
In that system.
Yeah, that system.
And he's still quick enough, fast enough to cover. He's physical enough, and he can play all over the place. And so, and also, Minkah's reputation. He's trustworthy. He's tough. He's a guy that's going to come in that locker room and be solid.
Cincinnati will lose Trey Hendrickson most likely in free agency. They had Boye Mafe and Brian Cook to that defense. And then, Jay, we get to the AFC South. Houston re-signed Sheldon Rankins to a deal they plan to. What does that mean for Houston's defense?
Well, look, it was, if not the best defense, I think it was the best defense last year, besides them and Cleveland going back and forth. Rankins was a big part of that, and I'm glad they brought him back. And they lost another defensive tackle, and they signed Daniel Hunter back, to a fully guaranteed contract. So you keep it all together. I think he's a big part of it. I mean, I think when you look at the star power of Houston, obviously the two ends, Anderson, Hunter, Shabazz, the linebacker, and all that. Then you got Petrie
Stingley on the corner,
Stingley and all them, right? But Rankins is the guy that really settles down the middle, and they can keep their depth rotation going. I think he's a big sign.
Elsewhere in the AFC South, Wan'Dale Robinson, 4-year, $78 million deal, $38 million guaranteed off his first 1,000-yard season. Obviously, following Brian Daboll to Tennessee. Good for Wan'Dale.
Yeah, it's a really good. It's a win-win. Coach that knows him, knows how to use him. Productive year. Trust him. He's coming in trying to he's trying to come in and get Cam Ward going. A guy that fits Cam Ward in the way he plays. He's tough. Good for Wan'Dale. A good representation for him, and then obviously, good for him to get paid. So I think the NFL has always been like this. Coaches are going to, and this I always talk about, the only mistake I made was getting hype on Greg. You know what I'm saying? and Tom Donahoe or whatever his name is.
Greg didn't get hype on you.
Well, I mean, Greg mended fences, but it's a little bit late. But these coaches will be recycled longer than you will be. Mm-hmm. And if you play well, they will bring you along. No matter how it ends at one place, always play the game. Wan'Dale is a really good, player, and it's good that he went over 1,000 at the right time.
Perfect time for him. The Titans will also bring in Daniel Bellinger, tight end, 3 years, $24 million, 14 guaranteed. Spotrac has that as 2 years, $15.95 million in practical terms. All right, Jay, we'll wrap up the AFC portion of our proceedings, talk about the NFC in our next segment with the Colts and the Steelers. We'll start with the trade that the Colts pulled off with the Steelers. It's Michael Pittman Jr. and a late-round pick, no terms official yet, for a late-round pick to Pittsburgh. Let's start with the Pittsburgh aspect of things. They get a number 2 behind DK Metcalf for the price of a late-round pick for a guy that was going to be cut, didn't even let him hit the market. What do you think of this move for Pittsburgh?
It's an excellent move, even though you don't have a quarterback. But now you have a quarterback that can seemingly just fit in there easy. Now, I'm assuming it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, the way it seems like. You got your deep threat. Now you got a legit, I don't even call him a number 2, but you got an ace in the hole.
But see, I think he's best as a number 2, or maybe a 1B, second banana.
Yeah, but he's a 1 in what he does. So you're right. We're saying the same things. Yeah. But what I'm saying is now you have 2 reliable guys with your tight end and obviously with a better, assuming play caller. I like it. I mean, Pittsburgh, this is the first time you got 2 legitimate receivers
since Ty Ward and Antoine Randall L.
Right. And
or Santonio Holmes.
Right. You're right. So, and those guys always left. Now you're acquiring those guys. Mm-hmm. Usually what Pittsburgh did was they kind of build them up, developed them, and then they end up going to other places except for Antonio Brown. And then obviously he went off the deep end, though.
Michael Pittman Jr.'s money mostly comes off the books. The Colts are on the hook for 29 of it. Now just $5 million in a dead cap hit. Money they used, Jay, on Alec Pierce, a 4-year, $118 million contract for him. And it's kind of funny because Spotrac put this out here as well. If the Colts would have announced this deal at 11:58 p.m. yesterday, it's just a 4-year, $114 million extension. But they announced it today. So it's the largest wide receiver free agent contract in history for a kind of no-name player that's made his way up the ranks in the NFL. He signs on day one, and apparently he turns down more money from teams like the Patriots, Raiders, Chargers, and 49ers to take a little bit less money to stay in Indianapolis. And this early on day one, I'm a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking. I'm not taking less money. This is the time because he's
$84 million total guaranteed, but still.
He's a deep threat, and your quarterback's coming off an injury. You don't know what it's going to look like. I get it. You're familiar that, granted, he was a first-round pick, right?
No.
No, I'm thinking about the Pearsall out at San Francisco.
Yeah, Ricky Pearsall. Yeah.
So, and you don't know what the contract looked like. So what happens is when agents say that or players say that, like the Raiders could have offered him $120 million. But the guarantee and the type of guarantee, like when it says $84 million in guarantees, but 60 is fully guaranteed. They could give you $80 million, $84 million in guarantees, but out at the Raiders, it would have been like 52 fully guaranteed.
Interesting.
So if you really just left guaranteed money on the table, well, you got bamboozled. You can't never get that money back.
I'm fascinated to see how this goes, Jay, because Alec Pierce was a big talking point. I'm really curious to see if he's going to live up to that contract, where I think he has a more well-rounded skill set than he's shown. I think he might just be a different version of Pittman Jr., where he's probably best as a number 2, a second option, but who's really good at what he does. Colts will probably have to go receiver in the draft or find one somewhere, but it's a worthy gamble. They didn't need to get to this point. Could have locked him into an extension before he got this expensive if you're the Colts, but you didn't do it maybe in part due to the Pittman Jr. contract. But a big piece of things for Alec Pierce, Jay, was quarterback stability. Raiders may or may not have it. Drafting a guy, Patriots seem to have it. Chargers obviously have it. And then some of the other teams that were mentioned. But the Colts obviously put the transition tag on Daniel Jones. They offer him a 3-year, $100.5 million contract. Danny Dimes says, no, sir, I'm taking a little bit of a pay cut now off of what the Giants were giving me with the 4-year, $40 million deal on average. He says he wants closer to $50 million per year. And if you look at the average annual value of quarterback contracts, let's just say he gets a flat 50, that would put him in between Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray for next season, with Jalen Hurts making 51 mil, Kyler Murray 46.1. If he plays up at the franchise tag, he's just ahead of Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield in terms of the average compensation, which, of course, on the transition tag is just 1 year. I get why the Colts did what they did. I get why Daniel Jones wants a little bit more.
You got to meet in between.
But you got to find a middle point.
Yeah, you're not in any position to be demanding anything. You lucky you even there. First off, number one, you already hit the Giants over the head. Okay, they overpaid for you. Then you really balled out last year. You're coming off an injury, and realistically, they could just transition tag you and then get rid of you next year and just start over with a rookie.
Right.
So I'm trying to come in between. If I'm asking 50, they want me at 38. Okay, then we're going to meet in the middle.
43, 44.
Right. And then you can just have like a second year option that kicks in the escalator, because you could set the incentives. If you hit certain incentives, this is the second part of the contract. Then it goes into the next level.
Other moves for the Colts over the weekend, they traded Zaire Franklin away. He's headed up to Green Bay. Part of more of what the Colts want to do is a youth movement. Jay, good player, heck of a story. 7th round pick that made his way to all pro consideration, led the league in tackles a couple times. Ran into some hot water with Indianapolis fans for what he was saying, how he was saying it on a podcast. But solid player. I think Green Bay got to find one. I was also kind of ready for Indy to move off.
I think he hit his apex, got paid, and then it was that same offseason where everything got a little too sweet. And we seen this last year at Nebraska, and you were too busy talking instead of playing.
Yeah.
Still a somewhat decently productive player, but he has to go up. He's in a good position to go up to Green Bay with that defensive scheme in that division to have a bounce back year. He still has some years left in him, but he's got to be 100% focused on football.
Yeah. In that trade, Colts get back a defensive tackle on a rookie contract, replacing Neville Gallimore, played on the vet minimum last year. He's out the door. Colts also signed Arden Key, a name that I'd heard of. Jay, you think that's a decent pickup?
I think he's been, relatively productive with Tennessee. They know him, right? They've seen him be productive, and sometimes, like I said, your tape is better than your stats. Look, they aren't playing down in Tennessee with a lot of leads, but he always seems to be really productive. I think a player he's grown into being a true NFL defensive end. Still has fresh legs. I think they got him for a decent deal for $11 million for a pass rusher. I mean, that's a pretty good deal right there.
Yeah, got a guy cheaper than what they would have had to get Kwity Paye back for, who goes to Oakland. Or got Raiders fan on the text line saying, what a day for my Raiders boys, between Jamel Dean, Kwity Paye, Tyler Linderbaum.
Quay Walker.
That's right. Mendoza coming.
They essentially went and got the Georgia National Championship linebacking crew down there in the Raiders. Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. Quay Walker's
Nakobe, my bad.
Yeah. But Walker, when focused, is a problem.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Kip, appreciate you chiming in as well. Westy, you bring up the big move to this point in the NFC. Mike Evans trading coasts from Tampa to San Fran. What went into that move, what's left in the tank for him, and more NFC moves on the other side.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me and the rest of the 93.7 The Ticket crew as we bring you live coverage of the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament from Pinnacle Bank Arena. The action tips off Wednesday, March 11th. If it's being played at Pinnacle Bank Arena, it's heard on The Ticket, Class A to Class D2 all week long. Join us March 11th through March 14th as we crown 6 state champions at the 2026 NSAA Boys State Basketball Tournament right here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket immediately after every Nebraska men's basketball game for 1 hour of post-game recap. The Nebraska Basketball Postgame Show is sponsored by Union Bank and Trust, John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical, Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, and the Lincoln Airport on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better than internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
I am Harrison Arns, producer of Ticket Weeknights and Weekends right here at 93.7 The Ticket. My favorite things to do in downtown Lincoln are checking out all the local sports events, whether it's basketball, football, volleyball, or even Lincoln Stars hockey. I enjoy it all because I get to experience one of the best sports communities in the country.
This message is brought to you by the Downtown Lincoln Association and 93.7 The Ticket.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And right now at Koppel, we are offering big discounts on all of our inventory. 2026 GMC Terrains are leasing at $279 per month or buy for $27,690. 2026 Canyon is leasing for $269 or buy for $40,980. Also right now, all new Equinox EVs and all half-ton trucks are starting at $12,000 off MSRP. These are just a few examples of some of the aggressive pricing going on right now at Koppel. Please stop on in or check us out at koppelcars.com. All these with $2,500 down with a roof credit.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're rolling right along through Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. Keep your thoughts rolling in on the NFL legal tampering period. Start of free agency ahead of the new league year kicking off here soon. 402-464-5685. Jay, MT Westy on our Starter Heyman Jewelers text line brought this up. How could Mike Evans leave Tampa Bay? The resume for him: 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons, holds the team record for receptions, yards, and touchdowns. Obviously won the Super Bowl a handful of years ago with Tampa. And how about this, Jay? He was the first draft pick for Jason Light in his tenure in Tampa.
Dang. Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, it's, you don't ever want to lose a good player, and they figured, look, he's getting a little long in the tooth, been there 12 years, little injury bug, got him last year, obviously hamstring issue, but man, it's tough it would be tough for me to see him leave.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still a productive player when he plays. It's just, it's a 3-year deal he gets with San Francisco, pretty much a 1-year deal. He could have probably done the same thing. I mean, I know they get Mbuka down there from Ohio State, who really started to excel. But man, it's your franchise. He's a figurehead of your franchise. I mean, I could argue that Baker Mayfield is not fully the face of the franchise Mike Evans is.
Yeah.
Or was.
Yeah. Fair.
I mean, you got a lot of decisions to make. I mean, maybe they're going to use that money to sign Levante back or try to get Levante to come back.
Ooh,
you got 2 of your figureheads that are free agents. Finished their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Evans, now who is gone, and Levante David. If you lose both of them, your franchise is done. Or not done, but forget next year.
Talk about tearing away the fabric.
Well, because that's the leadership.
Yeah.
Your offense and defense and leadership, that's the standard in your building. Now, granted, Baker and those guys, and I think, Tom Brady helped reshape that, but you're losing those 2 figureheads and 2 guys that are well respected in and out of the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
And you let them go to another team. It'd be different if they retired.
Yeah.
They're going to San Francisco. That's tough. And maybe Mike Evans wanted to go out and be a free agent for once. I mean, there are those type of feelings that when you've always kind of been re-signed, you want to see what it's like to go play with somebody else, and you never know what can happen.
But wouldn't the time to have done that have been, the previous contract?
Yeah, I do, but
too late now.
Probably at or around when they won the Super Bowl. Most likely not. That would have looked worse on Mike Evans. Now it looks worse on the Bucks not signing him back.
Yeah.
So, and plus, if Tom Brady said, "I need you back," you can't tell him. You can't tell him
back. Speaking of quarterbacks, and we'll stay in the NFC West here, Jay. Obviously, the Cardinals release Kyler Murray. They're keeping Jacoby Brissett as a starter and then signing Gardner Minshew as a backup. This screams 2027 NFL draft quarterback to me.
Or if they draft Simpson, one of them's gone, but I think that Jacoby Brissett did enough to be that, gap starter.
But that's all he's ever been.
Yeah. And
he's not going to get you better.
That's where you're at as an organization, though. At least they've come to terms with it.
Don't you want more? Or are you okay being 5-12?
But who can they draft at that position?
Next year.
Yeah,
blow
next
it up.
year.
Yeah. Go get someone else.
They would have to draft. I don't know who they would draft this year to really. It's not.
What if they trade down this year?
It's not Jacoby staying there. It's you signing Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew
lets me know you have no intention of winning this year.
Yeah,
that's the problem. If you kept Jacoby because he's there, he's familiar, and he's a leader.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he has experience of being that mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Then all right, you're gonna try to sign. You could have tried. You would have been out trying to get Mac Jones.
At that point,
but that lets you know you're pointing to 27. So really, for Arizona, Jake Bachman, your team is not going to try to win until 2028, my brother.
At the earliest.
And that's going to be if everybody else is going to let you win. I don't really see that happening.
Not in that division, not right now.
Yeah, so it's, oh well. The Cardinals are going to Cardinal.
Indeed they are.
Yeah.
Back across on the East Coast, Jay, the Commanders signed Odafe Owe, 4 years, $100 million, 68 guaranteed, and they bring Marcus Mariota back, 1 year, $7 million deal.
I understand the Mariota thing. He found a way, he found a nice little spot. He plays well when he gets in there. They got their quarterback of the future. They brought back also Laramie Tunsil, which is probably the biggest signing because he's their their bookend left tackle. They signed a couple other free agents, so they're trying to revamp that offensive line. They lost their center to the Chargers, I think. And Odafe, I think it's you're paying on straight potential here. Like the production isn't there.
Yeah.
According to where he was drafted,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
You saw a little flash last year, but is it your contract year or is this who you were for the majority of your career?
Why not save up and go for Trey Hendrickson?
Who you've been connected with before,
right?
Like as far as where you could go. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, he's getting paid off of Trey Hendrickson though, so the market is the market. He's young. He was young when he got drafted, so now they're thinking maybe he matured and now he's going to hit his stride. So they're thinking if he plays up to his potential or keeps ascending, they actually got him on the cheap.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
3 years, $40 million elsewhere in the NFC East for Isaiah, likely to go to New York, and making him the third highest paid tight end in the NFL. Now, obviously, Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors alongside of him. And then, Jay, on the defense, right? Tremaine Edmonds gets a 3-year deal with the Giants to go play middle linebacker.
Stealing. Brother been stealing since he's been in the league. He was hot garbage in Buffalo, was double garbage in Chicago. He's going to be triple garbage in New York. My man is big.
You go from Patrick Queen and Roquan Smith to Tremaine Edmonds and middle linebacker for John Harbaugh. Not quite the
It's
same.
not going to look the same. He's a big old dude, can run, just doesn't make enough plays for, I mean, I guess they got him on a fair market deal. You could have gotten a Kobe Dean for that. Less.
Right.
You could have traded for Quan Walker. I mean, I get it, but Chicago let him go for a reason.
Right.
And should have been let go last year. If you're on TikTok and some of the TikTok when the Bears lost the playoffs, it was about Tremaine Edmonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving him the business. And he capitalizes on the business. 3 years, $40+ million for him. Do you want to stick at linebacker or stick with the Bears?
Let's stick at linebacker.
Okay. Alex Anzalone from Detroit down to Tampa Bay.
That's a big loss for Detroit. Big loss for Detroit. You lose Aaron Glenn. You had Shepard there as a DC. Did okay. You're struggling. Anzalone was a little hurt. Then he really played well. And then when they started to really play better on defense, he's a guy that out of Florida, I know the long hair. Everybody thought he was Clay Matthews. He's a guy that really plays well in the run and pass game, and he can make plays. That's a huge loss for Detroit. But
Levante David Insurance or just a tag team partner for Tampa?
I think you partner him with Levante. He doesn't play where he's not in Levante's
spot.
Or in his league. He can play the Sam. He can play nickel defense with Levante. But I mean, Levante's got to decide if he wants to play or not. And maybe they need to sign up for insurance. It was like 2 years, 17.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they're getting Anzalone cheap.
Right.
So,
the guy that was probably the heartbeat of that defense for Detroit, right? You mentioned Branch,
him and Campbell
corners,
were, but he is the heartbeat. So.
Yeah, on the defensive side, right? Hutchinson might be the better player, maybe the better player.
Hutchinson's the better player,
pick, certainly.
This guy stirs the pot. Campbell now has to take over that and keep making plays, which he had a great year last year. But you lose that veteran presence that's been productive in New Orleans, Detroit. Expect the same down in Tampa.
Let's go to Chicago now, Jay. Also at linebacker, Devin Bush, 3 years and $30 million, 21 guaranteed. Maybe not a straight linear development for Devin Bush out of Michigan, but third highest graded linebacker by Pro Football Focus last year, getting out of Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, look, he had a tumultuous offseason.
Did he ever?
And it made him straighten up and focus like no other. Was at Pittsburgh. Not sure why he left or what happened. Ended up in Cleveland. Defense was excellent. He played well. Payoff. Tough dude, too. He tough as nails. I like this. It gives him a little bit more speed and range, though. Not as big in the middle, but I think I think with that defensive line of the Bears, and assuming that they're always going to kind of play with at the lead, he'll be just fine.
Neville Gallimore, defensive tackle with the Bears, played, like I said, on the vet men for the Colts last year. 2 years, $10 million for the 30-year-old DT. But then, Jay, the Bears also add some help in the secondary. A big loss from the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Bears signed Kobe Bryant, 3-year, $40 million deal, 34 starts over the last 2 years, 7 interceptions, as well as 7 forced fumbles and 7 PBUs.
Yeah, quietly one of their best playmakers since he's been in the league.
Mhm.
And I think, is he from Kansas? I think he's from
Ooh,
Kansas, right?
that sounds right.
Yeah, because I think his dad was obviously a big Kobe fan, right? He was from Kansas, right?
I'm trying to look this up. That sounds right.
Well, either way,
No, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Cincinnati. Well, anyways, a lot of playmaking ability. Pretty good deal for Chicago, but a big loss for Seattle, and that's part of what happens when you win a world championship. So I like it. You sign a leader in Devin Bush, a defensive leader at the safety position, Kobe Bryant, who really Chicago needed to upgrade it since they had Marlon Jackson from Alabama that came in like gangbusters, kind of fizzled out. Chicago was connected with DeMario Davis down in New Orleans for since the season ended. I wonder what happened with that, or if he's going to go back to New Orleans, because DeMario Davis is kind of an older version of Devin Bush, and so, but they're probably getting a younger version. And Devin Bush had a really good year last year.
Seattle also in the news. They're bringing back Rashid Shaheed, 3 years, $51 million, 34.7 guaranteed.
I like it. One of the best trades of the year last year. Paid instant dividends, and obviously saw it in the playoffs. What more could you ask for?
Panthers signed Kenny Pickett to a 1-year deal up to $7.5 million to back up Bryce Young.
Yeah, why not? Where's Mac Jones?
Where are you, Mac Jones?
Well, I'm just saying he's a free agent. He'd be great. I'm sure he could go back to San Francisco. But look, let's be honest. Carolina's head coach is not really. He's still not believing in Bryce Young.
Right.
I still don't know what else he needs to see. Besides,
you see the growth spurt.
You need a better offensive line. You need to continue to focus on the run game. You finally got him a number one receiver. You need to probably just get comfortable with actually Bryce Young as your franchise quarterback. If that's because that's the way he feels.
Yeah.
Which is obviously he can tell you one thing, his actions show you something else. Why wouldn't you go for Mac Jones versus Kenny Pickett? You get what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Mac Jones didn't want to go, but get him. You got Kenny Pickett for the cheap.
Sure did. Saints signed Noah Fant to a deal. It'll be a 2-year deal for him. Obviously, Omaha South product by way of Iowa. Some other Saints news, Jay, and we'll finish up with this and some more Cardinals news. In the running back room, Etienne goes from Jacksonville to New Orleans. A little closer to home. He's a Louisiana guy, but his quarterback since 2018 had been Trevor Lawrence. They played together, obviously, at Clemson, then both came into the league together and went to Jacksonville. So kind of a dynamic at times duo being split up there from Jacksonville's standpoint, but Travis Etienne gets a little closer to home.
Yeah, and he had when he plays, he's productive. He's for real. He's a home run threat, can catch it out of the backfield, tough in between the tackles, and, going up close to home. It'll be interesting to see what New Orleans does now in the running back room.
Mm-hmm.
Kamara
still gets the nod, but decent insurance policy.
Yeah, Kamara's got to be. You got to move him. You're paying 4 years, $52 million. He's starting. Travis Etienne's not going there to be backup to anybody, and they didn't sign him to be a backup. That means you could see him in Denver.
Hello. Husker wants Mac Jones to Pittsburgh, by the way.
I'd be okay with that, with backing up Aaron Rodgers. They kind of both have the same personality. Except Mac Jones does not know how to dress. His suit on draft day, he looked like I'm trying to do your car insurance policy. But yeah, it's for Etienne and Kamara. I think Kamara's, unfortunately for him, his time is up in New Orleans, but I think he still has a couple more years. I think if he goes up to Denver, which I think Sean Payton knows how to use him with that really good offensive line, with Bo Nix. And I think that Sean Payton wouldn't run him into the ground, and you wouldn't really stir up any issues in the running back room.
Right.
So I like it because you got J.K. Dobbins is kind of like your Punisher, and this guy's kind of do it with both. And then coming down the stretch, Sean Payton would trust Alvin Kamara, and I think Kamara would trust and respect him too.
And then a deal I like on the sneak, Jay, for the Arizona Cardinals, who I think are actually anti-Cardinals-ing with a good move here. They signed Tyler Algier away from Atlanta. That's a guy that was solid in a reserve role, obviously behind Bijan Robinson. For him, I see, James Conner really banged up last year, has been relatively dependable since coming over from Pittsburgh, but another injury at that position is pretty easy to bank on. So I wouldn't be shocked if Tyler Algier gets 5 to 10 starts next year.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think it depends on if they want to keep Connor. Well, sometimes when we get a new coach.
Just yesterday, they reworked the deal to keep him on the roster.
So,
just yesterday.
Yeah, and hopefully it's not one of those things they rework the deal and then like, oh man, we changed our mind. So if you that means you get more time to bring him back, and he's a veteran in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
He's a leader in that locker room. He's actually a franchise guy, right? You're always talking about C.J. Ham up in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. He's that guy. And then you get the younger version coming in on a pretty fair deal.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. That's the one thing Arizona did, right?
Better than zero things they did, right?
They signed a kicker and punter. They got a young, good defense, though.
They do.
And then they got some, offensive pieces. So they don't need much. They just need direction. So, look, and they're in the NFC West. You better come with it. You got defending Super Bowl champs. You got the Rams. And you got the 49ers. There is no day off, and there's no off season for you.
Nope.
So we shall see.
That's a good look at day one of the illegal tampering window in the NFL. Cubsker has an interesting text. We'll get to that to wrap up the show.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Have you been looking for home technology upgrades but don't know where to turn? Online information can be contradicting and confusing. Lincoln's own experts at Diode Technologies can turn your living room into the place to watch your favorite sports. Whatever your vision is, Diode Tech is ready to make it a reality. From home theaters to outdoor entertainment spaces, they bring you along through the entire process to make sure you get exactly what you want. If you're ready to upgrade your entertainment space, visit Diode Tech online at diodetech.net or give them a call at 402-793-5124.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
It happens. All of a sudden, you need a plumber. Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Problem solved with Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL Weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine with a light breeze. Be very warm and afternoon high near 78. Tonight, mainly clear skies and calm winds, below around 44. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies, be breezy and cooler, the high near 65. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Way out there where the sun comes up under the big red sky, I do life the way I love, with family by my side. I feel home with me, no matter where I go.
Proud of where we're from, excited for where we're going. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC.
The wait is over. It's Truck Month at Anderson Ford, which means big selection and even bigger savings on Ford F-150s. Like lease a 2025 Ford F-150 for only $195 per month. The truck that's built to work hard and play hard. Another reason you'll experience better at Anderson Ford. Stock number 1008409. Previous service letter. $195 per month for 36 months, 7,500 miles per year, 8,500 with type. Tax, title, and license fees extra. Residency restrictions apply. Program subject to change. Must take new retail delivery from Anderson Auto Group by 3/31/26.
Tired of asking what's for dinner? Nourished for Life has got you covered. At Nourished, they're a local meal prep company that delivers fresh, chef-crafted, healthy meals straight to your door. Made from wholesome ingredients and ready when you are. No shopping, no chopping. Just heat, eat, and enjoy every night of the week. Fuel your busy days with balanced meals that are designed to keep you satisfied and energized. Visit nourishedforlife.co to purchase meals and taste the convenience of home-cooked comfort without the hassle.
Nutrition Authority invites you to check out the top-selling Epic Effects. Epic Effects is designed to help blast body fat, curb cravings, and provide smooth energy so you can cruise through the day. Home of free samples and better-than-internet pricing, Epic Effects can only be found in Nutrition Authority. For store info, visit mynutritionauthority.com.
Back to Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time to Old School. Austin Orman and Jay Foreman with you. Big thanks, as always, to Graham Tire for their sponsorship of the show. Check them out at any of their Fort Lincoln locations. More than just tires, they do everything from oil changes, brakes, and everything in between. Again, Fort Lincoln locations. It's Graham Tire getting you to wherever it matters most. Jay Cubsker on our Starter Human Jewelers text line says, I'm praying Rodgers doesn't come back to Pittsburgh. I feel like they need to go get a younger, proven guy for a year or two, or just feed Will Howard to the Wolves and pray for the best.
You can't do that when you got, Watt, that's a Hall of Famer, Jalen Ramsey, Hall of Famer probably, and then you got Cam Hayward. You can't do that. And you just spent a whole bunch of money in last 2 years for wide receivers.
Yeah.
Now, Will Howard could definitely step in, but I don't think you just, anoint him the franchise quarterback. And I also think what can hurt if you have Rodgers back for one more year? He's your best option.
For how much? 20-something, 30-something?
He took a pay cut last year.
Yeah.
So he's not going to come in. He knows that. He's not oblivious to the obvious. And he should thrive with Mike McCarthy. They're familiar with each other. They've mended any fences. And for Mike McCarthy, I'd write like with those two receivers that we just signed and our defense and the division.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland is Cleveland. Cincinnati is hurting. Baltimore is compromised.
Mm-hmm.
You got to win now.
Since he did sign some guys on defense, we'll see if it helps.
Yeah, see if it helps, but they still don't have an offensive line to protect Joe Burrow.
Right.
T. Higgins has got to be gone, right? You can't keep paying those two guys.
What if you do, though?
Okay, then you're the same team as last year. I like my chances.
Yeah.
I mean, with the other guys, the defense, yeah, you can sign some guys, but they're not. You still gave away Logan Wilson for peanuts, and he was your best second-level defender. Cam Taylor-Britt is off in the abyss. Your best sack guy is gone. Your other one retired.
Well, I mean, your best sack guy, you had a chance to extend and trade.
Yeah.
You had a chance to trade for something. Instead, you're going to bungle that from start to finish and get absolutely zero for him with all the holes on your roster.
And his partner in crime retired before last season, and the guy that you drafted is a borderline bust.
Yeah.
So you have no pass rush with no offensive line. You're done. Joe Burrow's ready to go. That's why he was down and gambling in Vegas at 2
He's either ready to go someplace new or get out of football.
No, he's still
Would he get out of football?
No. He might do it for a year so he can come back.
The Derek Carr special.
That's what I was just about to say. He could come back to Pittsburgh for the right amount of money.
Imagine that.
Why not?
Wow.
I would.
What a blow. That'd be to Cincy, but be hilarious.
Yeah.
So, all right,
well.
Jay, take tomorrow off. Take your day. State tournament's around the corner again.
That's right. Yeah. These dudes are bigger. I got to make sure I got my head on the swivel.
You have any old helmets laying around at home?
Nah, man. I'm be looking though. I'm be on the red alert. But we're gonna try that. We're efforting trying to get Coach Ross and Coach Miller from Lincoln High. Try to play that before the tip off at 1:00 or 1:30. Try to get him in a pre-record. Hopefully we get that done today or tomorrow.
There you go. Stay tuned for that. He's Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NFL vet Jay Foreman. I'm Austin Norman. Don't go anywhere. Take it weeknights on the other side.